welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Bobby Trippett.
And I'm Eddie Jefferson. What?
And today we're talking about 1982's The Slumber Party Massacre.
It takes a lot of love for a person to do this.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Spooky got no real rhythm. We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell would women live? I'm horny. And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
It's for jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed.
So guys, we're here talking about Slumber Party Massacre, and this was recommended to us by Eddie. Eddie, you are first time appearing on the show, but you have infamously picked a movie that Chris Mann and I loved. It was Chris Mann, Hughes, and I think that was Hughes's almost one of his early episodes was Stewardess School.
Yeah, that's way back.
Yeah, that was such a good movie.
Yeah.
No. I just remember it was one of the like random VHS movies that we had at my house where there were tits, so I would just put it on every once in a while when my parents were in bed. So,
Well, it makes perfect sense.
well,
Yeah.
hey, why not?
I think when we reviewed that episode, most of the comments I got were like, God, I've seen this movie like 20 times. They just used to play it like on repeat on HBO. It was one of those early HBO movies.
So, funny story about that. My dad was all about doing illegal shit, and he had some sort of a weird like filter he'd screw into the cable, so we got free HBO for a minute, and he just like taped everything to tape. So we just had random shit on tapes. Like we would have this, and then like Young Guns.
Oh, yeah. I had the exact same thing with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get those like super long tapes where you get like 2-3 movies on. Like parts of them are cut off a little bit at the end.
But you've seen it already, I've seen it 100 times. So today, Eddie, you have recommended to us Slumber Party Massacre.
Yes, Slumber Party Massacre.
This movie is well known to the Grindbin audience. We put this on our Patreon for a vote. It did not win. It lost to Black Gestapo last month. But Slumber Party Massacre, we've been trying to get on the show for quite a while. So go ahead. I always say this to our guest. Explain yourself. Why this movie?
Okay, so Slumber Party Massacre. I'm 38 years old, so I'm a little older. I remember going to the video store, and all you could do was look at all of these tapes, right? There are these boxes, and they had all of this imagery on there. You're like, oh, what's this about? You'd look at the cover of it, and it was so cool. And we moved from the very small town that I grew up in. Fun fact, it's the only county in America that doesn't have a stoplight. So that's something.
The whole county?
The whole county, yes. Skamania County and the Columbia Gorge of Washington. Nothing there. You don't need to go. We left. We moved to a larger city area, Longview, Washington, and across the street from where we lived, there was a movie rental place of ill repute. So we were managing a motel at the time, and there was a built-in house, but didn't have a lot of bedrooms. Well, it so happened that there was a motel room that didn't have working plumbing, so that was my room. I brought a VCR up there, and the movie place, they had a deal where for $100 a year, you got unlimited movie rentals. You just walk over, take as many as you want, and oh yeah. So me, being a shitty teenager, I would go over there and just grab 2-3 horror movies, come back over and watch everything. I mean, I cleared out that entire horror room, even Faces of Death, which they questioned me when I rented it, and I said, my parents already think I'm fucked up, so it's okay. Then they called my parents to check on that, but hey,
And they're like, yeah, he's
I was
fucked
fucked up. Yeah, he's okay. But I remember Slumber Party Massacre because the cover of it looked stupid. Like it looked like a horrible, like it and even the name, Slumber Party Massacre. It sounds like if you loaded the title of every horror movie from the 80s into a computer and said, just generate a title for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, I'm not going to watch that. And just recently, now being married to a screenwriter, started looking into different movies and looked at the history of this and who it was written by and why, and I'm like, wow, that's fascinating. So I actually didn't watch it until kind of recently,
wow.
about a year ago, and it hit me in the right spot.
Wow. Well, I have actually heard so much about this movie. This is the first time I've seen it.
No shit, really?
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I have never seen this movie before. I was looking forward to doing it for the show eventually because Bobby has had it on his personal list for quite a while.
Of course.
And if somebody has it on a list, I just wait. If I haven't seen it, I'm going to wait until the show so I can go in cold and get
Wait
my
until it
first
actually
reactions
comes
to
up.
it.
See, because
Yes.
I had a similar background to you, Eddie, spending a lot of time at a small video store and renting every single horror box. The difference between you and me is I grabbed that one. I was like, that sounds so stupid. I have to watch that right now.
Yeah.
So I've seen this many, many times.
I felt like I was missing something my whole life. This is now one
wow.
of my absolute favorite cheesy horror movies. I absolutely love
Are
this.
we just going to put that out there up front? Is this going to be a love fest? Or all three of us?
this
Oh,
is
come on. Of course.
100% recommend. And
Yeah.
if you haven't seen the movie, please watch it before you listen to this. If you're the type of person that wants to watch the movie beforehand, go ahead and do it because
Yeah.
it's it'll be much more fun if you know what's going on.
You really want to experience this one.
Pause right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Please. I implore you. You don't know me, but I'm smart. Do it. I work at fucking NASA. Come on.
And speaking of not knowing you, the audience might not know you, Eddie, but I am very familiar with you now because I listened to an episode of your show that I'm going to go ahead and have you plug right now on my way home to record this podcast, and my God, is my mind racing. Please, please, please share your show and the specific episode that you told me to listen to.
Absolutely. Let me go into pitching voice now real quick. So I'm the host of the once, whenever I feel like it podcast, the Let's Get Shitty show, censored in iTunes, though Come Town you can just see. That's fine for some reason. I don't know. Kind of feeling bad here, but we're a podcast about a man and his wife getting drunk and then thinking they know something when we clearly don't. We like to say that it's about buttholes and philosophy, basically.
But specifically, episode 33 is the one you told me to listen to, which contains a conspiracy theory that I was not aware of, and I don't think at the time you recorded many people were aware of. It's a relatively obscure one. However, there's a lot more now since you recorded that episode. They're now like YouTube videos dedicated to it and all sorts of stuff.
It's like when you buy a car, right? So I bought a Kia Soul, a silver Kia Soul, and I never saw Kia Souls on the road, but now I see them everywhere. You know what I mean? It's a brain one.
Yes.
This conspiracy theory. It's such a great conspiracy theory because it's about nothing and it's about everything all at the same time. The title of the episode is Interdimensional Beings, and it's really, it all stems from wanting a good key lime pie recipe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
is. I'll get to tell you, I was just captivated by it. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I do recommend everybody go listen to it. I'm not going to ruin anything in regards to it. Just go in cold, listen to it, and I believe you'll all be hooked as well. So.
Well, thank you so much. And if I may, just plug it. Go on Patreon and subscribe to the Grindbin. I don't have one because what I do isn't worth any money. But these guys I've been listening to forever. They're an amazing podcast. I've been a supporter forever. Just please, guys, everybody go to patreon.com/grindbin, right? Is that it?
That is it.
Good. Go there and subscribe. Give them money, but listen to my stuff for free because it'll always be free.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. So today's movie, Slumber Party Massacre, written by a very interesting writer. And Bobby, do you want to take it away? Because I know you have a bunch of research about her. This is written and directed by women. So it's a really interesting one to kind of go in and explore.
And that's actually, that's true of the entire franchise. Every entry was written and directed by women. They made it kind of a selling point as the movies went on. But yeah, this was written by Rita Mae Brown, who some of you may have heard of before. She was a civil rights activist, a radical feminist, and a gay rights activist, but also most known for being an author. And starting off with a book called Ruby Fruit Jungle, which is kind of semi-autobiographical about her coming of age as a LGBT woman. And but what she's perhaps most known for now is a 28-book series of mysteries called the Miss Murphy Mysteries that are co-written by her cat, Sneaky Pie Brown. My wife is a huge fan of these books.
Oh, wow.
She's read damn near all of them, so I asked her a little bit about it. She started with the book Rest in Pieces, which is one of the earliest ones that they did. And I asked her, so what's the deal with these books? What are these generally about? And she said to me, sex scandals, dismembered corpses, and talking animals.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta start reading this shit. But I have a few select titles from the series.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, just to get an idea of what we're dealing with here, Murder, She Meowed. That was actually adapted into a film starring Ricky Lake.
Oh, wow.
Claws and Effect.
Love it.
Catch as Cat Can.
That one's a little weaker.
Puss in Cahoots.
Okay.
Oh,
That one's gold. That one's money. The Litter of the Law.
Oh, boy.
And she has a new one coming out this June called Whiskers in the Dark.
Wow.
Wow.
Not to mention also, my wife owns a cookbook that Sneaky Pie Brown wrote called Sneaky Pie's Cookbook for Mystery Lovers.
Does she also write the burger of the week for Bob's Burgers by any chance? Because holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, her IMDb is a little bit more sparse. Like, she's certainly known as an author because the IMDb is just mostly very, very, like, random credits. She doesn't have much in terms of screenwriting at all. She has some TV stuff.
And I think that's probably due to what happened with this movie.
Maybe. Yeah, she is uncredited for writing an episode of Tales from the Crypt, which is Werewolf Concerto.
We may have to cover that on the mini.
That's such a
I know,
good
I think we
episode.
Is
By
it?
the way, I'm an enormous Tales from the Crypt fan. Please have me back for that if you do it.
Oh yeah, that
course.
seems like the perfect combination.
Excellent.
But the thing with this movie is in the 81, I believe is when she wrote it, she decided she wanted to write a feminist send-up of slasher movies. We were right in the midst of the big boom. You know, this is around Friday the 13th. This is when, you know, shit was firing on all cylinders, and she's like, I'm going to do a parody. And so she writes that, and she writes a script called Sleepless Nights, which gets picked up by Roger Corman. And what ultimately ends up happening is nobody gets the satire.
Which means it's great satire.
Yeah. You're telling me our guy, Grindbin All-Star Roger Corman, didn't get the satire, Bobby?
Can you believe it? I am beside myself. But yeah, so he reads the script. He's like, there's a lot of good shit in here, but, you know, he didn't pick up that this was supposed to be making fun of other slasher films at the time. And so he tries to get a director for it, and he gets Amy Jones to come on board. And the two of them start working on some script changes and adding a few things, most of which involved nudity. And he kind of took this satirical approach to the slasher film and then took a bunch of hammers to it until it turned into a regular-ass slasher film.
However, some of that satire still remains. Like, some of the lines are so unironically bad, I guess. Like, ironically bad. I believe a lot of it was probably still left in there.
It creates a very unique experience because you never know which things are intentionally bad and which things aren't. Like, some of it they're in on it, and some of it they're not. And I don't think there's a lot of movies like that.
Yeah, there's such brilliance in it. Like, this is the only way a movie like this could ever be formed, is just by pure happenstance. Like, it's wonderful.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I had a chance, because I had a little free time at home recovering from a surgery, to watch this also with the commentary on. And as of the time when they recorded the commentary, Amy Jones, the director, still doesn't get the satire.
Are you serious?
Absolutely serious. To this day, she's like, I don't know what people are talking about when they point out some of the satirical things.
You're telling me Amy Holden Jones, the director of this movie, and the writer of Beethoven, doesn't get the satire?
Do you want to jump into Amy Jones now that I've introduced her?
Yes, Amy Holden Jones. She started as an editor, actually. She had 4 credits editing in 1970. She started in 1976 with a movie called Hollywood Boulevard that was co-directed by Joe Dante, Gremlins Joe Dante. She then edited 1978's Corvette Summer with Mark Hamill and Annie Potts. 1978, American Boy, a profile of Stephen Prince, which was a documentary made by Martin Scorsese. She edited that movie. And then her last one she edited was 1981's Secondhand Hearts, which starred Robert Blake and Barbara Harris. After that, This is apparently in the trivia, and I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently she was given 2 opportunities. She could have either edited Steven Spielberg's upcoming film E.T. or direct Slumber Party Massacre. I think we know what she chose.
Yeah, and I think one of the deciding factors on this, according to her, she'd never even seen a slasher movie before, so when she read this script, she thought it was wholly original.
Wow.
She's like, I've never seen anything like this.
It jumped off the page.
Yeah, she's like, my God, this is extreme.
So apparently, after she made this movie, the story is that when they did a test screening of it with Roger Corman and everybody, apparently the audience just was laughing right away.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
This is basically a comedy.
She apparently ran out of the theater and was like beside herself. And she ran up to Roger Corman and she was like, "My God, what did we do?" And he said, "Well, we just had the best preview in New World history."
And I like that she holds on to that now. And still is like, I don't understand what happened with this.
It's the room of slashers.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
And this was a massive success. It had a budget of $250,000 and it made $3.5 million.
I have a little aside about the soundtrack, which I think is also amazing in this movie.
Oh my God, so wonderful.
Anyone who wants to track that down, look that up and just listen to it isolated. It's this amazing lo-fi soundtrack. What had happened was they were like, okay, we need a score for this film. So Amy Jones talked to her brother. And she went, "Do you think you can do a score for this?" He's like, "Yeah, I can do this. Fine. Can I get an advance?" And so she gives him an advance on his pay. He takes that to a thrift store. And what he ends up buying is a beat-up old keyboard, like a little Casio.
Yep.
A single cymbal and some wine glasses. And he does the whole score with that.
Funny thing, her brother's name, Chester Novell Turner.
Right.
Director of Black Devil Doll.
Also should mention the score is available on vinyl through Death Waltz Records. It's a great
shit.
it's a great LP. I have it at home. It's so
Or
good.
at your local Casio dealer, just press the demo button and you will get most of the music used in this movie.
But you have to have a wine glass too. So I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
you gotta-
barrier for
yeah.
entry.
But I
so-
love that he
That's
he
great.
ran to a Goodwill. It was just like, I'm not a trained musician and I don't have any instruments, so I need to make this work. I said I could make a score.
So after this movie, having her brother do the music, she directed 3 other movies actually after this one. 1983, Love Letters, which she also wrote. 1987, Made to Order. She also wrote that one. And she also wrote the last movie she directed, which is 1996's The Rich Man's Wife. However, she's probably most well known now in her career as a very successful screenwriter who has written the movies 1988's Mystic Pizza. 1992, she wrote Beethoven, which was one of my favorite movies as a child.
Funny thing about that, she didn't get the satire.
It's weird that one went cats and one went dogs.
Yeah, that's true.
Roads diverged.
1993, she wrote and won the Razzie for Indecent Proposal. She wrote that movie. 1984, here's a good one, though. I think this is an underrated, fun B movie, is The Getaway. She wrote that movie.
Is that Charlie Sheen?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I've seen that. You are totally right.
Yeah, fun movie. Most people don't really remember it, but that was one I caught on HBO quite a bit as a kid.
Yeah, see, that's why I saw it. HBO.
Yeah. And then in 1997, she wrote The Relic, which is not a great movie, but it's kind of fun in its schlockiness.
Yeah, definitely.
But right now, she's more known as a television creator because she created the show. In 2014, she created a show called Black Box. But right now, she actually has a show airing. It's aired now for 2 seasons. It's called The Resident. It's a medical drama, and she created that show.
Huh.
And apparently, Bobby, according to her, the movie was actually 90 minutes, and then Roger Corman cut it down to 76.
Sounds about right.
There was apparently a way different ending. And they reshot it, which we'll get into. I have a lot of trivia sprinkled throughout the movie, so we'll get to the actual ending. She said, quote, "It must have been lame because I can't remember it."
So that's what Stephen King said about
Maximum Overdrive?
Maximum Overdrive. He was either lame
he
or
was
the
on
coke.
so much coke that he doesn't even know he did it. He sees photos that apparently he directed this. That's how it is on the commentary on this too. Is she remembers no stories. She's just watching the movie with one of the actors and going, "Man, you had such a great body back then."
Wow.
That's like the extent
that's
of the
fun.
commentary.
Well, that's most of the characters' conversation with one another. But
Well, that's true. So apparently, they also cut out a scene where the girls were using a Ouija board and it spelled out the words death, which it sounds like that was 13 minutes we didn't need. So
Absolutely. It doesn't
Get it
really
out of
fit
the
the rest of this movie. There isn't a supernatural element.
well, yeah, there is a supernatural element, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
maybe that was part of the satire, and then they were like, well, we don't get this shit at all. Cut it out.
I can see that.
So we're going to go rapid fire through the cast because there's a lot of people to mention and not a lot of credits involved, except for one person who's barely in this fucking movie, but she is like an absolute legend.
Made the most of her minutes, though.
Yes, she did. And by the way, she's a Grindbin All-Star. We'll get into that. But Michelle Michaels, who plays Trish in this movie, she only has 9 credits, but Grindbin All-Star.
The hell you say?
New Year's Evil.
Oh, wow.
God, really?
She plays the character of Punker in Car.
Punker in car.
Yeah, she's a Grindbin All-Star. She was also in 1982's Satan's Mistress. Don't know that one. But right after that, she went into... Did you have something to say about that?
No, I never heard of that.
I thought somebody did. But while filming this movie, she went straight from Satan's Mistress into this. Apparently... Now, we know that she does nudity in this movie, right? But apparently, the lady who plays Deborah, who we'll get into her background, refused to do nudity for her scene. And apparently, Amy Jones just raised a 50 in the air and said, whoever wants to take off their shirt will get an extra bit of money. And you know what? Michelle did it.
Sure, Mr. Crown wasn't involved. I'm smelling that.
No, but I could definitely see some time where Mr. Crown steps on set with a $50 bill in the air and goes, who's going to pull it out?
Jesus.
But apparently that random insert shot is just Michelle again. She took one for the team. But you know what else she's in, which is probably going to be on the Grindbin at one point? She's in 1987's Death Wish 4.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'll definitely show up.
Those, wow.
They made 5 of
Yep.
those.
Oh my
4
God.
is 4 is probably my favorite.
That's
5
the one
is
where
like
he vows to kill drugs, right?
yes. It's Bronson against old people and drugs.
That one has my favorite introduction of Bronson, where they see him at the end of a parking garage, kind of like Candyman, just standing there, and the guy goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And he goes, "Death."
Hey, I'm Death. I'm here to kill the drugs. Put them down.
Yeah, my favorite scene from that movie is when Bronson does a hitman, and he pretends to be a waiter at a party.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of the whole movie is that one of the bad guys walks in and goes, "What are you doing in here?" And he goes, "I'm using the can." But she plays the character of Kersey's secretary, so I'm assuming she has maybe one line or maybe no lines. So she just kind of looks at him off screen, and that's it. But she was also in a Chuck Norris movie, 1988's Hero and the Terror, which is not a Chuck Norris movie I'm familiar with, but she was in that.
I've never heard of that.
No idea.
And then you know what? That was about it for her career. She was done. Robin Still, who plays Valerie, though, also 9 credits. This was her first movie. Then she was in uncredited in the movie The Being in 1983. And she has a role in 1988's, which is probably going to end up on this podcast at some point, Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-O-Rama. Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama.
Yeah.
She's in a movie also in 1988 called Vampire Knights. Now, it's not knights as a knight, it's knights as in a medieval knight.
Oh, now you have my attention.
Exactly. There is like basically no information at all about it, but I'm interested in digging it up.
Question, is there any jousting?
You know, I didn't go that far into it, Eddie,
With a
but
giant straw.
there fucking better be.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a giant straw.
Look,
Better get some goddamn jousting in this movie.
And then the last movie I have for her was 1990's American Ninja 4, The Annihilation. She was in
Wow.
that movie. And that was her last movie because, unfortunately, she had a very bad drinking problem and took her own life in 1996. She was only 34 years old. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
awful.
a very sad end. But Michael, I don't even know how you pronounce it.
Vilea.
Vilea, who plays Russ Thorne in this movie, also only 9 credits. This was his first movie. His next movie was the director's next movie, which was Love Letters. He came back and worked with Amy again. He was also in 1989's Wild Orchids, and then the follow-up to that one, Wild Orchids 2. And guess, Bobby, guess where that comes from?
Huh.
Well, he's a Grindbin All-Star. He appeared on this month's Galaxy of Terror. It's one of Zalman King's softcore pornos.
Of course. Fantastic.
Yeah, so he appeared in those. And then apparently he originally auditioned for the role of the neighbor, so creepy neighbor guy. But he got the role as the killer.
Mr. Content.
Mr. Content.
That's amazing that he would try out for that character. So
And they were like-
imagine this movie with those guys swapped.
I could see it.
I mean, they're
I think
both
it might work.
creepy. Like,
I have a couple notes about how Michael approached his performance as Russ Thorne, because he first thing was he read Helter Skelter.
well, yeah. I mean, that's standard for any actor, right?
Of course. And then the two things he kept in mind for his performance was, one, peacocks.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always trying to walk like a peacock.
Again,
And
yeah.
two, he made sure to focus on love at all times. That what he's doing is because it's basically the monologue he gives at the end about, like, he does this because he loves them, but he's always trying to have his mind, his heart filled with love while he runs around with a power drill. One thing about his interaction with the cast, though, was he's one of those method actors.
Of course he is.
Oh, an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he spent the entire time, every single person had a story about this, of like, he talked to no one, he stayed to himself, he just glared at people from like down the hall at all times. And so whenever he'd show up to do a scene, no one knew who this guy was.
I wish everybody that I worked with was a method worker because I'm so fucking tired of everybody.
I feel you, dude.
So he would show up on set, they'd call action, and be like, who the fuck's this guy? Is he like a PA or something? And then he picks up a power drill.
Yeah, this dude in a Canadian tuxedo shows up.
Do you feel like he came to the audition wearing that? They're like, you know what, can you just wear that for the movie? That's great. Just come in like that every day. You look like a fucking weirdo.
Just Fred Armisen, head to toe in denim.
Yeah.
It's a good look.
Just straight roused hour, just ready to go.
That's all I got for him.
Okay, so the next person I have is Deborah DeLiso, who plays Kim, 18 credits. This was her first role, actually. She had a few TV roles you never heard of, but just thought I'd mention her. I'm going to mention all the girls in the movie. Andrea oh my God, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Andrea Honore, who plays
Nailed it.
Jackie. Yeah. This is her only role of note. She appeared in some things in some TV movie in 2009 or something, and then a short in 2010. But she's married to a football player who's on. He's like some sort of football player. He used to play for the Broncos or something. He's always on TV as a commentator. But
Too bad
she's
I
still
love
around.
Jackie. She was good.
I know, that's what I thought. I was surprised it was her only credit. So that was it.
That's
one and
insane.
done. Gina Smika Hunter, who plays Diane as she goes in the movie Gina Marie. She has 11 credits. She did a bit of acting before this movie, including being a recurring character on a show in 1977 called The Oregon Trail. This was one of her last roles. She only did two things after this, and they're both TV things you'd never heard of. But, yeah, Slumber Party Massacre, that was it for her. She's like, fuck this. Jennifer Myers, who plays Courtney, the little sister in this movie. I just called her Little Sis throughout the whole movie because there's too many names to remember. Only credit.
Really?
Man, well, she said all she needed to say.
Yeah.
You know, I was shocked that this was her only credit because I thought she gave a really good performance.
Yeah, she actually was really good.
Yeah, she's one of the standouts.
Totally.
As like
totally.
a 20-year-old playing a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
She's like taller than her sister, and she's supposed to be some young girl.
Everybody's age in this is very suspect. So
Yeah, that's true. But I just thought this was pretty funny as like, I kept wondering because they never address it. I'm like, well, how old is she supposed to be? Because she certainly is not like, are they implying that she's in grade school throughout this movie?
Plus, how many times are we looking at her ass?
Yeah, that's
Like,
the creepy
for
thing.
real.
Well, I know she's, we do establish that she is past the 5th grade.
Oh yeah, because
So,
she did
I
something
think she's
in
supposed
fifth
to
grade.
be I think she's supposed to be in about junior high, is my guess. So she's
Oh, so that's fine.
supposed to be maybe about 14.
And don't look at her ass or anything, but she's wearing shorts that they probably wouldn't even be allowed today. And our standards for short shorts are pretty short at this point.
I mean, I'd wear
I've got them
them
on
but-
right now,
yeah.
and they are inappropriate.
But here it is, the big one here. She's only in this movie for maybe 5 minutes. Brink Stevens, Linda, in this movie, 150 credits.
Whew.
Yeah.
She is a legendary scream queen. She's in, I can't even count how many horror movies she's in.
140, right?
Yeah, but you know what? This was her second movie, and guys,
Uh-oh.
she's a Grindbin all-star.
Is she
Of
now?
course.
Well, you saw her naked body in Savage Streets because she's just credited as Girl in Shower.
Uh-huh.
And you saw her in a speaking role in one of our favorites here on the Grindbin, Mob Boss.
Wait,
That is
what?
an absolute favorite of ours.
In Mob
Yep,
Boss
bring-
where?
She is in Mob Boss. She has a speaking role in Mob Boss. So.
Wow. Now I gotta go rewatch Mob Boss and listen to the episode. Patreon.com/Grindbin.
Yeah, an Eddie Deason classic. So, Brink Stevens, though, I'd say in my notes, we're going to cover her career more in depth when we get to a movie she was in more prominently.
And just real quick, Eddie Deason, he shares the same first name as me. And there's not a lot of Eddies in this world. Please, just don't think about him when you're listening to this episode. And my name is Eddie, so that might come up. But don't think about Eddie Deason.
You don't want people to think about Eddie Deason when they think about you?
I work at NASA. I'm a nerd. Yes, I understand that. I'm not Eddie Deason.
But your dad was a mob boss.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
And at one point in time, you did go to a brothel full of vampires.
I
But don't we all
can
at some
neither
point?
confirm nor deny that, but I do not eat garlic on my pizza. So,
One more thing you said before this episode started recording is you did tell Bobby and I, die bitch, die.
I did say die bitch die. That is actually, if you look at my Twitter bio, die bitch die is in it. But I am not Eddie Deason.
I feel at some point during this episode you're just going to drop and your real voice is going to come in and it's going to be one we all hate to remember.
I guess you'll have
A
to stay
shocking
tuned.
reveal on a special episode of the Grindbin. A guest star no one expected.
Just a little bit of trivia before we get into it, guys. Apparently the guy who played the pizza boy in this movie, Aaron Lipstadt, he directed Android in 1983.
As a director? What the fuck?
Apparently Corbin was like, yeah, you could direct that Android movie, but you got to get your eyes drilled out in this movie.
Yeah. And then
Whatever you say,
happens to
Mr.
him
Corbin.
like, Jesus. Talk about objectifying a person. Like, oh my, yeah, okay, go on.
I feel like at some point Corbin was like, look, son, if you just do this for me, you'll get to direct a movie one day. I promise.
You gotta pay your dues in the industry.
He also produced Hollywood Boulevard in 1977. So yeah, this guy is actually a producer and a director, and Corbin made him show up on set as a pizza guy who gets his eyes drilled out. I love that story.
Jesus.
But if you want to see the house for this movie, guys, you can look it up on IMDb. It's located near Culver City in Santa Monica. I only wrote that down because it's probably worth like $5 million right now.
Funny thing about that house. They apparently knocked on doors in that neighborhood until somebody let them film it at one of the houses. So they got a bunch of no's, and until they eventually got to that house that they ended up using, and this old couple was like, "You guys want to shoot a movie here?" And they didn't tell them what kind of movie it was, and the old couple was rather shocked when they discovered people getting murdered in the house.
So, was that their pool?
Yeah,
It had to be, right?
So they've ruined that pool.
they absolutely did. They messed everything up.
Well, I feel like they called cut and everybody said run, and that was
Yeah.
the last I saw of them.
There's a bonus feature on the I think it's like 2010 DVD of this that they put out where a fan actually just showed up at that house and the old guy there let him in again.
Yeah,
Wow.
Michael Vieira couldn't swim, so with what happens at the end of it, like he had to be floating in there and it was super cold and they like leaked
Miserable.
a ton of blood, fake blood in there, which the other thing is that the fake blood was just Cara syrup, which is corn syrup and red food coloring. And
course.
so,
Yeah.
all these insects, like one of the actresses, I forget who it was complaining about all these insects were swarming her while she was going in, like, having lunch because she just smelled like corn syrup.
Yeah, you're basically covered in sugar.
Yeah.
I think that was Brink Stevens actually complained about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think that was her actually on the notes, yeah. So guys, why don't we take a listen to the trailer?
The basketball team is planning a party. A slumber party to bare their souls.
No, I think your tits are getting bigger. Mine?
All the girls are coming, except Mary and Linda. And they won't be missed. The party begins at 8 o'clock. It's a slumber party for old time's sake.
Love it too. Do you think I'm getting better?
But be on the lookout for an uninvited guest.
Please, please.
When the pizza arrives, things really start jumping. Some people may have to leave early, but others will hang around and hang around.
Courtney, you're underage. Negative. Come on, let's go.
You're not gonna eat the dead guy's pizza.
I feel better already. Really, I do.
But for those who stay, there'll be plenty of surprises and non-stop action. One thing's for sure, no one's getting any sleep the night of the Slumber Party Massacre. Close your eyes for a second and sleep forever.
And by the way, if you want to watch this movie, it's for free on Amazon Prime right now. Great version of it, because it's also, I believe, the same version that's on the new Shout Factory Blu-ray they just released for this movie. So,
and it's like, what, 76 minutes? Dude, you could knock that out in just an afternoon. It's nothing. It's no problem. And if you feel bad because you didn't pay for the movie, just go to patreon.com/Grindbin. Give me money.
Yeah, just give us the $2 instead of Corbin.
Totally.
So, guys, we get into the movie. We open on a suburban neighborhood. A paper boy's delivering papers, and he delivers one to this house, Trish's house, and the headline says, "Mass Murderer of 5, Russ Thorne Escapes."
Yeah, and it also says the GOP lifts the Social Security Axe, AX. And I say that because on Twitter I'm Eddie the Axe. Thank you.
Oh, hey-o.
Not Eddie Deason.
That is your Twitter handle, though, at not Eddie Deason, right?
Yeah, not Eddie Deason.
Yes. Okay. So then we go to Trish's bedroom. She wakes up. A scream is heard. Oh, it's just the radio.
Oh, someone's won a contest.
Yeah. I think she won a T-shirt. Which,
Yeah,
by the way,
t-shirt.
if you win a T-shirt, you're not screaming. Come on.
And then
now.
she sounds let down when she finds out it's a T-shirt. That's the best part. You're like, oh, all right.
And the camera decides to take a step out into the hallway while she changes, just so it feels creepier. Like, the camera's fine where it is, and then we go hide behind something,
Yeah.
just so we feel like
We're stalking her.
Yeah, we're getting that little voyeur style, you know?
A little bit.
Corman had the 50 in the air as he's going like, just let's watch it finish.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Yeah.
he hands it to her. She got it. Little bonus.
Go walk over to the stuffed animals so you look like a child.
Okay, so that's the thing. We open up on a shot of a girl, because she's supposed to go to high school. I guess it's a high school. I don't know. We'll talk about how many students go to school. But she's getting naked, and she's then standing in front of a bunch of stuffed animals. So how are we supposed to feel about this?
I believe the answer is hard than soft, Mike.
So she loads all these stuffed animals into a paper bag. We wonder
And
what the hell's going on.
Barbie doll. She sits and she looks at a Barbie doll for just an extended moment. There's a pregnant pause, which also pregnant pause could be a title of one of those bad cat books.
That's coming in 2020. That's when Sneaky Pie has kittens.
And so she loads all these into the bag. She loads that Barbie. And then all of a sudden you hear her mom from downstairs. She's saying, "We're leaving, Trish, come down." And then as she leaves the room, we hear a radio report about that escape killer, Russ Thorne, because we really got to get that in there, guys, that there's an escape killer.
Yeah, and
Well, yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
and he killed these people. How many people did he kill? 5?
Mass murder of 5, Russ Thorne escapes.
And he killed them in 1969. When does this movie take place?
1981. I mean, the idea is that he did those killings so long ago, but he broke out now. Guys, I have breaking news at this point. I just
Okay.
need to. My wife has come into the room to inform me that Sneaky Pie is a boy.
Whoa.
So
Wait a
I
minute.
need to take back my joke about Sneaky Pie having kittens. Sneaky Pie has now sired kittens in that joke.
Oh, okay then.
Okay, we now resume the Slumber Party
Sneaky
Massacre.
Pie busts in another cat, and then they have a pregnant pause.
Yes, is that in the books, or?
I can only imagine.
It actually is in the fan fiction that I have coming out, which is the Sneaky Pie Cream Pie. That's going to be coming out this year.
Which is what Eddie came here to promote.
Yes, and it's on patreon.com/Grindbin. Thank you.
Yes, and the movie adaptation is starring Eddie Deason. So it's a big...
Not me.
It all works together.
Eddie Deason, not me.
Yeah.
Sure thing, Eddie.
You'll be starting a new podcast soon. It's called Eddie and Eddie.
It's called I'm Not Eddie Deason, where I try to find and kill Eddie Deason.
Man. All of our Patreon funds are going to be funneled into this project?
I was just going to say that. Yes, we are supporting this entire project with our Patreon funds.
But what happens is we meet, we lock eyes, and we both explode.
Whoa.
Great.
Yeah.
Scanner style.
Across the streams. Oh, I just want to see that. The two Eddies just scanning each other.
So after this scene where she goes downstairs, we hear about the radio. We hear on the radio that there's a killer on the loose. Trisha's parents are leaving. We're outside in the driveway now. And she says, her mom says to her, the chips are under the sink and the soda's in the fridge. And
I had that fucking note. Who puts chips under the goddamn sink?
Only a psychopath.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
What the fuck?
Sinks leak. Chips necessitate dryness. What the fuck are you talking about, you lunatic? You're out of your goddamn mind. Sorry, I will... Oh, calm down.
Sinks are for cleaning products and sponges only, okay? No chips.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
God damn. Yes, that annoyed me as well. But don't worry, guys. The parents are leaving for the weekend, but you know what? We got this creepy neighbor guy. He's going to be watching over her all weekend, okay? And
Yeah,
he
Mr.
says, quote,
Content.
yeah, he says, quote, I won't let the girls get any trouble. And Trish just looks over and goes, shit.
Yeah, and we all do.
And so this is when we learn, she says, I'm 18. I can take care of myself.
So now it's fine.
Yeah,
Right?
and
When we were looking at her packing up her stuffed animals with her tits out and her pink nipples, and now it's fine because we know she's 18. Cool.
Yes. Now we aren't conflicted anymore. And you know what, guys? You know how she proves she's a full-grown woman? Well, she takes those toys and she throws them right in the trash.
That's right.
What symbolism?
The time for kid stuff is over.
We focus on the Barbie, too, which is a repudiation of not only her childhood, but a crying out of her feminist ideals.
Ooh.
Now, how much do you think, like, you know, obviously this is supposed to be some of the satire. It's her taking all her childish things and throwing them out. That just fell on deaf ears here? Like, they really... What did they think? Like, did they think this was meant to be serious?
Well, I'm stupid, and I picked it up. So...
I mean, that's very telling. But yeah, they didn't think is the answer. There's just no answer for that.
Yeah.
But so while we're focusing on this Barbie doll, a hand reaches in and plucks it out of the trash.
Oh.
I can only imagine it's the director of Turkish Superman. Ready to do his Turkish Supergirl movie.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, it's not the killer, it's the neighbor.
Oh, no question.
There is no goddamn way it's Russ. It was the fucking neighbor. It was creep guy neighbor, for sure.
Absolutely. He's sniffing the hair. He's just getting full Biden on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Touching its shoulders, all sorts of
You
stuff.
never go full Biden.
So now we go to, as I call him...
He's just biding his time.
Hey. Now, I know these characters have names, but to me, they'll always be the Horn Boys. These two boys at school, who I've called the Horn Boys. Horn Boy 1, Horn Boy 2.
Here come the boys.
Yeah, they would later be in the movie Joysticks. Like, what the fuck are we talking about with these guys?
These guys are in a completely different movie for most of the movie. They are just so, like you're saying, Eddie, they're looking for the arcade from Joysticks. These guys are just totally horned up, right? They come over, they're just walking down the hallway at school, and the first thing we hear is one of them go, you gotta be more aggressive with the girls.
Well, I've been saying this a long time. See, there's this guy, Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you guys have heard about him. That'd be great if I just go on a weird, like, alt-right rant right now. But no, fuck him. You got to be more aggressive with the girls.
You got to be more aggressive. And so he wonders aloud about who he should ask on a date before... another ass shows up on screen. A woman's bottom shows up. Yeah.
You remember when you were in high school and the janitor was like a really hot chick and you could see her ass all the time?
Their conversation of who they should hit on stops when they see a janitor's butt, and it's a woman.
I remember my janitor. He looked like Sideburns from Billy Madison.
And you couldn't stop yourself from staring at his ass.
I kept staring at his ass, to be fair. I mean, listen, it's 2019, right? We can be honest about our feelings.
Yeah.
He had a nice ass. What am I going to do? Not look?
Right.
Jeez. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be weird if you didn't.
It would be weird. You know what? It would be sexist if I didn't.
Now, this was the first. This ass was the first glaring example of a theme throughout the film that was definitely intentional in the original script.
What's that?
We've swapped all the traditional gender roles of a slasher film.
Yeah.
Which is why the electrician is a female. The leads are all athletes. The dingbats are the guys.
Yeah.
The killer's a guy, though.
Right, but that's making its own point, though.
Yeah,
that's there's
true.
a very clear subtext to that as well. But funny thing is, that's brought up when I was listening to the commentary with director Amy Jones, and she says, "You know, I never even noticed that."
Really?
You didn't even notice?
She didn't.
Hey,
It didn't occur to her that all of the gender roles were swapped.
So we zoom in on the janitor's ass, and then we widen out to an establishing shot.
And she is a lady. Oh my
She's a
God.
looker. And the director's like, yeah, that totally tracks.
As one of the boys says when he sees her, "This is a real bang." And he goes, "Just give me 5 minutes," because he wants to talk to her.
Now, you call her an electrician, Bobby, but apparently, according to our characters, the Horn Boys, her name is, quote, Phone Lady.
"Hello, pizza man."
Yeah. "Hi, are you the phone lady?" And she's like, "Yeah, I am." And he's like, "Hey, this is the quote." He says, "You know what? Have you ever considered dating a younger man? You know what they say about dating a younger man? Try it, and you might like it."
Yep.
And I said, "Where do they say that? NAMBLA? Like, what the fuck are you talking
Seriously.
about?"
They say that at Comet Ping Pong Pizza.
They sure do, and we know what's going on there.
So let me tell you about, I don't know if you've ever heard of Alex Jones, but he's a guy that got villain. Sorry, anyhow,
Now,
continue,
his
please. Not Eddie
icebreaker.
Deason.
His icebreaker with phone lady is, you know, I have a ringing in my ear. I mean, phone. Hey, are all phone women this pretty?
And they didn't see the irony in this at all. They didn't see any sort of
We're playing
satire.
it straight. Beethoven lady does not see it.
What did the director think? The director of the writer of Beethoven think about the fact that her killer in this movie carries around a 6-foot-long drill bit? Did she see any sort of symbolism in that, or that was just on deaf ears?
Huh? You know, I guess I could see that. You know, I guess that's one way to look. That's a take for sure.
Is that symbolic or something?
Maybe.
A I think I need to rewatch the movie.
I missed all of that.
Oh my God.
I missed that subtext.
So speaking of Joe Biden, as the guys walk off, she's grabbed on the back and then pulled into a van. So she's grabbed on the shoulders. and-
She's grabbed like a vaudeville cane. You almost hear the whoop when she gets pulled in. Like her shoes should have been on the ground.
The cane goes around her neck, and you just see like a smoke outline of where she once was.
Yeah. So Bugs Bunny grabs her, and apparently this is a soundproof van.
Yeah, I wonder who would have a van like that.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing, though, too, is that there are only like 10 people that go to this whole school, from what I can see. So
yeah, this is like Pieces University.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where I went to school. Like, there were two families, and there was the Bevanses and the Denimores. And I had to move out for genetic diversity. Not the Deasons. There were no Deasons in my school.
There were definitely no Deasons.
So yeah, she gets pulled into this van, which is pretty, right, soundproof. No waterbed in it, but soundproof.
Yeah, but she's slapping on the glass and shouting, but the boys can't hear her because of that thick ass glass on the back of an old van.
Yeah, they can't hear the drill come up.
Yeah,
goes slowly into her, and she's screaming.
Yeah, the drill that's plugged into the cigarette lighter, I guess.
Yeah,
amazing portability.
That's a good point. Yeah,
we'll get into that.
And we get the blood splatter hitting the ceiling of the van.
Yes.
Love it.
She dead.
We cut to the worst basketball game ever put on film.
Okay, this is...
The actresses admitted that they did not know how to play basketball.
First of all, that's sexist. Women are very good at basketball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But Lisa Leslie's not in this movie.
That's very true, yeah, okay.
Okay, there's a lot of things wrong with the scene. One is that the girl dribbling the ball this is the first time she's ever dribbled a basketball.
It may be.
She's looking at her feet as she dribbles, like going like, "Oh God, I hope I get this right." And the coach is, and by the way, she's dribbling into about a 14. Like she's dribbling into like a 4-man coverage at this point. And the coach is just screaming, pass the ball, but she's going to fucking Kobe this shit.
I'm a slightly taller man. I played a little bit of basketball in high school, not to brag. But she travels like twice.
Yeah.
She dribbles, and then she stops, and then she dribbles again. You're actually not allowed to do that.
And the coach is shouting, triangle, and she's pulling out construction paper.
And so she finally passes the ball to Jackie, who takes a shot and just bricks the hell out of it.
Yeah, she fucks that up.
It almost misses the backboard.
What a dumb bitch.
Whoa. Eddie.
I mean...
Die, bitch, die.
Hey, no, I'm not Eddie Deason.
Sorry.
I mean, she tried. She has good fundamentals.
That's what the coach kept telling her. She's like, keep going. You got good form. It'll go in eventually.
Good fundamentals.
And
at
while
my
this is
tracksuit.
going on, while we're playing NBA Jam, here cheer the boys.
Yeah, yeah. So they're here. The Horn Boys are watching, and they are big fans of Valerie, right? And she's the only person on this movie, I think, that knew how to play basketball at all, I guess.
Well, she gets the layup. She takes it to the fucking hole. I mean, come on.
When she does score, another one of the girls on the on the soundtrack goes, "Teacher's pet." Like, no, this is you're not sucking up because you did the sport correctly. That's
You won.
You can't be a teacher's pet in PE.
Yeah, it's one of the things, like, I don't like sports. I don't respect sports. In fact, I hate every athlete. But unlike Hollywood and unlike politicians, you actually have to be good at what you're doing to get ahead.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Though I've often wondered what it'd be like to be the bench warmer of a major team. Like, how interesting must that be? Of, like, you don't play, but you make, 6 figures, and you get the championship ring, but all you do is just sit around drinking Gatorade.
You get a towel in your hand. You get to wave it vigorously. You get to join in on all the fun. It's probably
you get to shower
great.
with the guys. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, there's no pressure, but you can you're not lying when you tell people you're one of the Buffalo Wild Wings.
Until somebody gets injured, and then they're like, well, you got to go in the game. You're like, uh-oh.
Well, then it's just Rudy, man.
Or it's Joe Montana, the greatest quarterback to live until every other quarterback later. But,
of course.
Yeah, he was a third-string
The
quarterback.
one who taught our guy Michael Sopke how to throw a spear.
Hey.
And they're like, just one day they go, all right, Joe, I guess it's your turn now. And he got in the game, and the rest was history, I guess. And then somebody on the line, the 4th-string quarterback, said, teacher's pet. So this is what annoys me about this scene, is at the end of it, the coach blows the whistle and says, this is the last week of varsity basketball. And I go, varsity?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I want to see the JV team.
Well, I'm enjoying seeing either team. And speaking of showers.
So we cut to a scene that I'm sure Roger Corman wrote on a cocktail napkin. Just all of a sudden you would flip the script, and then you're like, between page 8 and 9, all of a sudden there's like a cocktail napkin in there, and it just says shower.
And there's a line. There's a line that starts this scene. I don't know if you have the note, but I do.
I do.
I do not.
Oh. It
Go ahead,
says, I think your tits are getting bigger. And in chorus, we hear the girls say,
Mine?
Mine?
Now, about this scene.
Mr. Crown was on set.
Oh, absolutely.
Very much so.
Are you kidding me? At this point, he pitched a tent and fell over.
So this scene was inserted at the demand of Roger Corman. Even Amy Jones didn't want to do this scene, and that's why it's shot so...
Insertion, yeah.
It's shot so almost medically. There's no... we're just literally panning over, tits,
Well,
down, ass,
first,
ass. Okay,
first
we got
I got
it.
an ass, right? And then after that, there's a Johnson's baby shampoo bottle.
Just to show they're young.
And then we got some girls talking about guys. And then they're all talking about how perfect Valerie is.
They're also talking about how well she plays basketball. And I was like, all right, she made one layup, okay?
Yeah. That's more than any of them did.
So we cut to this great thing where Diane...
But there is some great dialogue during this. Is this what you're getting at, Mike?
Yes, where Diane
While
says...
they're taking the shower?
They are taking a shower, and Diane is standing off to the side with a friend of hers, and she comes in... We come into the middle of a story here, where she says, okay.
And that joke goes over like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
And but also while they're in the shower, some of the small talk they're making is I wrote down a couple of those lines. Do you like watching basketball on TV?
Yeah, we have this whole...
I sure like all those guys in their little shorts. What about football? Do you like football on television?
There's this weird subtext of being very interested in sports that carries over and borders into the paranormal we'll get to later.
Oh, yeah. Their obsession with sports in this movie, it takes it very, very far.
Specifically scores.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is also where we establish that there is going to be a party this weekend.
Yeah, and
Yes,
Diane's a cunt.
A slumber party.
Yeah. Yeah, Diane is not a nice person.
Yeah.
No.
But so Trish comes over and she tells Diane, she's like, I was thinking we invite Valerie to the party. And Diane says, no, I don't want her to come over. And by the way, they're changing now. They're changing in the locker room, right? And they say, Trish says to her, she goes, look, what do you have against Valerie? And Diane says, nothing. She drinks too much milk, which I thought was a great line.
What the fuck does that mean?
She's a goody-goody.
And again, like they're changing it. I remember when I would go and shower at gym class. My favorite thing to do is walk around with my cock out in front of everybody.
You got
Be
it.
like, hey guys, how you been? Let's all look at each other's penises and asses.
The one thing is, like, if you ever go to a gym that has the showers, it's always like the oldest men that just decide to just go total penis out.
That's
and they
so
just,
true.
Like, they have just gotten to a point where they don't care anymore.
Fuck, I can't wait. I'm 38. I'm almost there. I'm almost like on the porch yelling at the kids and like screaming at pigeons and throwing shit into the neighbor's yard. Going to the gym with my balls hanging out, like walking next to a guy like, so that's a cool phone you got there, young man. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
I think they have towels over there, sir, and you're just like, it's fine. So
just like, I'm dry enough.
He's going to dry his balls with the hand dryer.
I like to air dry, let them just kind of dangle.
Yeah.
So you're not quite there yet. Are you at Speedo at the beach?
Oh, I'm ready for that.
Because I think that's where you get right before you get to naked guy at the gym.
I'm at like pink shirt and short shorts. I'm not quite Speedo at the beach. I'm so close.
Almost there. Almost there. Hang on to your youth, Eddie.
I'm getting
I love this, though. While they're talking shit on Valerie about how, she's so perfect. She does her hair out perfect. Here's the thing is that they're changing, and then one row away, Valerie's changing. Her locker is right next to theirs, and she can hear everything they're fucking saying.
Just talking shit on her to her fucking face, basically.
Yeah. And
they don't have object permanence. If she's not in front of them, they don't think she's there.
Well, I mean, we've already proven that women have really bad spatial awareness. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy.
So Trish says to Diane, she goes, Diane, you're a snob. And she responds with, hey, only the best people are, Which
true.
I loved. I did love that line. And so then
clever.
Trish says she's going to ask Valerie if she wants to come to her party. And she walks up as Valerie's leaving. She's like, hey, Valerie, do you want to come to my party? And Valerie's about to cry. And she's like, no, I'm not going to go, Trish. And she runs out. And Trish is like, what the fuck? Why was she so bummed? I wonder why.
Yeah. What flew up her ass?
Yeah, you're screaming at the top of your lungs about how much of a fucking goody-goody she is and how nobody likes her.
You said she drank too much milk. I mean...
That was too far.
I've played Skyrim. When you call somebody a milk drinker, that is not a positive.
That's grounds for fisticuffs.
Mm-hmm.
So then all 12 students that go to the school are walking home, right? And they're all just outside the gym. And the killer, Canadian tuxedo killer, is watching them from the van. And then we get a shot of the dead phone lady, right? So
she's in the dumpster. She's hanging out with evil.
Yeah. And so then one girl, Linda, forgot something in the locker room. So
this is Brink.
Yeah, Brink Stevens. She tells the coach, she's like, I forgot something. She goes, well, hurry up because they're going to lock up the building soon. And so Linda just runs in. There's a lot of shots of her just walking around the gym until she finally gets her book. And then, you know what? They locked the doors while she was inside there for all of 1 minute because... all of them are covered in chains, like locked with fucking giant chains and padlocks, every door.
Man. They are efficient at this school.
Like, that's what I use around my house. I mean, I haven't had a doorknob in nigh on 15 years. We just kind of wrap the whole house in chains, and I have a big comic, like, sized padlock.
Yeah, with a big comic-sized key
Yeah,
that you keep under a
Like
rock.
the key to the city.
Well,
Yeah.
I put it in my pocket. That's actually like really small, but somehow it fits in there. And I've got an anvil above the door too. So.
This sounds very decent.
No, not Deason. It's not an anvil. It's an axe. It's an axe.
Oh,
Eddie the axe.
okay.
Hey, and the dude was talking. One of the dudes in the parking lot's talking about having provisions for the party. Did you guys catch that?
Oh, one of the Horn Boys?
Yeah.
One of the 2 boys that go to the school?
Yeah. He said they had Doritos, No-Dos, and crystal meth.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck is this party?
Man, these kids.
I think this is the perfect time to mention that this episode has sponsors, you guys.
Yeah. Crystal meth. Ladies and gentlemen, crystal
Doritos,
meth.
No-Dos, and crystal meth.
What a
if
combo.
you're a truck driver and you can't sleep, be sure to get plenty of crystal meth. Thank
Crystal
you.
meth Doritos. Available at your...
Your local truck stop.
I gotta ask my dad about that.
The Flying J, they've got the crystal meth. It's just right next to the like horny goat rhino strength fake boner pill.
Yeah,
Of
which
course,
we
the
learned.
butter pills they were making in
Yes, we learned how they made them. Yeah, they just got to choke a cobra for a while, and you get yourself a boner pill.
What?
Yeah, in the movie.
Hey, if I choke a cobra, then I just get a boner of my own. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you're gonna need a pill if you want to do anything after that.
And we'd like to remind you that Eddie's Twitter handle is @NotEddieDeason.
At not Eddie Deason on Twitter.
So then that's when Brink is in the lockers, right? And she's got everything. The doors are all chained shut. And then all of a sudden, a strange man appears behind her in the hall. And then he walks up and just drills the shit out of her arm. So there's no tension at all. He just comes up and drills her.
Yeah, just nothing.
Yeah.
Just-
and she's like screaming and runs around.
As you would.
Just like he's clipping
Yeah.
his fucking toenails. Just bzz.
Like he's bored with it.
Yeah.
But this is when we see his full outfit, and I'm like, I just can't be afraid of a man dressed in a Canadian tuxedo. Like, it just,
Yeah.
there's no fear. Even
Like, I've
with
got,
the
like,
6-foot drill.
I've got
feel
like a low rent Jeff Foxworthy chasing me. Like, what's going on?
Oh yeah. Somebody made this point online somewhere, and I kind of subscribe to it. Is that was kind of intentional? That this guy, because of the subtext, because of the super text of this film, this guy looks like a dude who'd be mad that you said no to a date, as opposed to like Michael Myers or Leatherface or something like that.
I don't
this guy
actually have a denim jacket. I haven't had one since high school, so... Oh, no, this guy. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah. I wasn't reading the Tumblr about you, Eddie.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, like this guy looks like an MRA.
Yeah, no,
You
he's
know,
like the
this is-
killer from...
and that's kind of the point because of the phallic weapon and everything. He's just, it was more the message they were trying to get across by making this guy just a sweaty dude in a jean jacket.
Okay, so you're telling me that when Charles Bronson goes to his apartment, the other drill bit he's going to find is the one from 10 to Midnight.
Oh, I definitely think that Bronson was in the theater when this premiered, stood up and went, "It's his penis!" Declared it for the room.
Oh, shit, so that drill bit is like a... That's supposed to be like his dick.
It's a big swinging bit.
Huh.
Wow.
So you know
Oh,
what?
by the way, now's a good time to mention this too. They did talk to Amy Johnson
Yeah.
about Amy Jones, not the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers. They talked to Amy Jo Johnson for the Mighty
They
Morphin
did
Power
talk
Rangers.
to all of the Power Rangers.
They asked every last one of
Rita
them what they
Repulsa
thought
was
about it.
into it.
And they said, "I just wish he would have grown at the end."
What?
No,
Grown? You wish
No.
the penis would have grown?
a groaning Matt Groening actually
Matt
would show
Groening.
up and draw. No, so they asked the director about the subtext of it, and she, this is gonna shock you guys, doesn't see the rape subtext. She
Well-
thought this movie, if it has any subtext at all, is about the nervousness of a young girl who's still a virgin about losing her virginity.
Yeah, because sometimes you got to get a little forceful with them.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm like,
What
Amy,
the
this
fuck?
movie's about rapists. This movie's about men raping people.
Now this is just making me think I should date Amy. Because clearly she's just down. Like, what the fuck?
She doesn't have any idea. Like, there's a killer who's dressed as an incel walking around with a 6-foot drill bit that he penetrates into women, and she doesn't see any sort of
and just kind of
subtext of
sweats
this?
and breathes on him first. And she was like, "No, I just think it's about being nervous about your first time." God damn it! Like, I sure it was written by a militant feminist, but I don't think it had anything to do with.
So what
rape.
about that whole speech about love at the end? How'd she interpret that?
Well, I think that's what gave her the idea. This is all just about.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
this is about good old fashioned consensual sex in the 80s.
Is amazing that she still does not see it. I love that.
It blew my mind how oblivious to her own damn movie she is. She gets her arm slashed.
Yeah, and then she runs around. She's in the showers now. She's like kind of hiding out, and
She goes into the PE office and hides under a table.
yeah,
And leans against the wall she was just going through.
and her blood is just streaming out of her arm to the point
Like, I
where
think she's already bled out.
oh yeah, she's pretty much done.
Doesn't she use the towels to try to sop up the blood and kind of cover her trail?
She is, because she notices that it's going under the door.
Good idea.
Yeah.
As he's creeping around, as he's peacocking around,
Yeah.
she reaches up to try and pull a towel off the counter to sop it up before it goes through, and she kind of almost makes a sound. This felt very reminiscent of the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Spielberg,
I didn't even think of
you
that.
hack.
Totally.
And wait, Spielberg knew the director. She was gonna. Jesus Christ, Steven.
Do you feel like
Steven.
after Amy would call cut, that Michael would come over and he's like, "What do you think about that? Do you think I was peacocking enough?" And she'd just give him a look like, "Michael,
What the hell are you talking about?
I got like 50 more shots to get." So
Peacocking is fine, but what you've got to do first is you have to lead off with an egg, and then you have to initiate physical contact, right? So you put your hand on the shoulder, you give him the full Biden treatment.
I think he asked if he was peacocking enough. She told him where the men's room was.
yeah, Michael, if you need to take care of something, it's down there. So no, he sees the blood eventually coming from under the door, and you know what? He just fucking drills his way into that office and drills through Linda.
It's like
Bye,
The
Brink
Shining.
Stevens. Yeah, it
But
was
with a
nice
drill.
to see you. Yeah, so instead of a scat man through the chest, she gets drilled through the chest. So
I love. There's this massive scream, and we do the pan back like a cartoon where they show like the
Yes.
whole school campus while she's screaming, and then my favorite shot in this moment is him booking it to the van.
Yeah, I had a note of that. Like, there's so many times though it's comedic, but we're following the killer. Like, maybe he's secretly the protagonist.
Like, is there gonna be some kind of reveal? But yeah, him just like cheesing it like he's in a Scooby Doo cartoon.
yeah, so yeah, he runs into the van and everything, and Linda dead. So we
Yeah, she
we
dead.
cut to. No, I like this. Is we cut to Trish getting dropped off at her home by a guy on a motorcycle with a mustache that we will never see again. She kisses
He's
him and
just
says, "I'll
gone.
see you later." Like,
But
what the fuck
she
was that
won't.
about? Who is this guy?
He had to be in a different movie.
I was just like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
That's the real mystery
well,
of this.
We'll never
he's Poochie.
reference this man again. It is. It's Poochie. He just left to his own planet. He's fucking
I have
gone.
to go now.
Were you guys
My
hoping-
planet needs me.
Were you guys hoping that like at the finale of the film he'd come crashing in on his bike like Meatloaf?
Yeah. Like a bat out of hell
Yeah.
just through the house.
It's just like that the summer school one when you get the kid's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and he gives him the hall pass.
Oh, I love that
And
part.
the end of it's like, yeah, this is the guy that scored the highest on the test, and you're like, who the fuck was that? Yeah, my zipper was stuck. Like he's gonna come back and just save the day with his motorcycle of magic.
It's been amazing. Just at the very end, right when he's about to drill, he just gets nailed by a bike. Just boom,
this-
get on.
The scene
Come
is
with
that
me
she
if you
gets
want to live.
Yeah.
yeah. The scene is she gets dropped off by this guy with a mustache and a motorcycle. She kisses him on the lips and says, "I'll see you later."
They're gonna fuck.
We will never see this man again. I kept
He's gone.
This and the pizza. I kept writing about where the fuck are they? Like, when are they going to show up? So now we go to. Then we cut to somebody in a van who we're thinking, oh, it must be the killer. It must be Canadian Tux.
Now this is an issue because, as you recall, Amy Jones claimed she'd never seen a horror film before. Not a horror film. She'd never seen a slasher movie.
She's never seen New York Ripper. She's never seen it, Bobby.
This
Not
is
seen Halloween.
This is
nothing.
Halloween, which then turns into Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
She's
As
never
far as
seen
the
either.
POV shots go,
You know, and just because on the Casio it went, she's never fucking seen it, man. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
They hit all the Dutch angles, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So no, we do the POV, the Michael Myers, as this guy gets out of a van. He follows Diane, right? And then you know what? He Bidens her. He touches her on the shoulder. Okay.
And she gives him like the old judo flip.
Yes.
Yeah, she does. She flips him over, and then we get introduced to maybe my favorite character in this whole movie, John Miner.
Oh,
the
John
man
Miner.
who he never shuts his fucking mouth, and I mean he uses it to breathe, to talk, to everything.
And he goes, "Holy shit! I think you broke my back."
And she
Broke
says,
my back.
and I love this. Is she calls him by his full name. She says, "John Miner, what are you
Everybody
doing,
does.
scaring me to
It's
death like
awesome.
that?"
Come on, John Miner. Miner.
John Miner, there isn't a frame in this movie where his mouth is closed. It is just he is a pure mouth breather. This man.
You get the feeling that everyone calls him John Miner because he's too stupid to respond to just John.
Yeah, if you say John to him, you're just saying it. He's John.
He won't even
John,
react.
John.
John Miner. Oh, what? Damn, you
Again.
almost broke my back.
Again, minor, the subtext here. The stuffed animals, the No More Tears Johnson's baby shampoo. You get where we're going.
This one's for the kids.
So no, John asks Diane. He's like, "So we gonna hang out tonight?" And she's like, "No, I'm actually going to a girls only sleepover." He's like, "Can I come?" She's like, "Well, I said it was girls only, John Miner, but I'll ask Trish. We'll see what's going on."
You gonna cut your cock off? What are we talking about?
So then we go to the PE coach. She arrives home, and as she's about to open a door, oh my god, a drill just goes right through the front of it.
This is the stupidest fucking shot. By the way, in the car, the radio's talking about the murders in 1969. By the way,
Still going.
69,
Yeah.
nice. That's when you're engaging in mutual oral sex, by the way. 69. If you guys weren't aware.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, that move is called the escaped murderer.
Oh, I got it.
Yep.
So no, there's a drill that goes right through the front of her door. It almost hits her right in the face. She opens it up,
Yeah.
and some repair lady's there, and
Yeah,
she
it's
goes,
Pam.
"Yeah, Pam's here," and she's
Pam's
like,
putting in the peephole.
"Yeah, I was just putting in your peephole," and I'm like, "Well, that's hold on," because then Pam goes, "See you later," and she's like, "Hey, did you see the telephone repair man around here?" She goes, "Yeah, his van was over there. Bye."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wait,
By the
hold
way-
on, what the fuck? That's not how peepholes work. You got to
Yeah,
put the
where's-
glass in. What the fuck are
Yeah,
you doing?"
Where's the brass ring with the glass part that's like weirdly fish
Nope.
lensed?
Just
so
a
you can
hole.
see them? They can't. No, really?
Just a hole.
You
So
needed
it's like
a
a
hole
hummingbird
to
glory
peek
hole
through.
is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, now the coach has just just a hole in her front door.
Yeah, well, that's good. Thanks a lot, Pam.
And by the way, Pam was played by one of the set designers for the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they just were like, "Hey, you want to
She
drill
already
through
had the
this
drill.
hole?" Yeah, exactly.
She had the drill. Again, drill. Huh?
Think about it.
So now we're on to Trish. She's on the phone with Diane, right? And then Trish hears something, and she thinks somebody's at the house, so she hangs up. Apparently, Trish just leaves her front door open because
Yeah.
the door's
I
just...
thought that was the sound she heard, was the front door opening.
Okay, but here's the thing, is she walks up to the front door, doesn't think anything's weird at all, and just closes it, and then
Yeah, that
goes
was in my
play-
notes too. That she's very nonplussed about the fact that her front door just opened its goddamn self.
And then she just goes and plays the piano for a while.
And we pan over, and there's the shadow of somebody upstairs.
And that's when she stops because she hears a little creaking, right? And then she goes to run to the front door, and of course, you know what?
She gets Bidened.
Yeah, she gets Biden by the creepy neighbor.
Joe Biden.
Okay, I got a lot of problems like this.
So
Yeah, this guy
so-
is a problem.
Mr. Content.
Yeah,
Mr. Content.
Mr.
What the
Do you
fuck
think
is that last name?
Yeah, what is this?
Okay, so what he says to her is he goes, "Oh, Trish, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was just checking the place out." And I just write,
Yeah.
"No,
No.
excuse me. What do you mean checking the place out?"
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to make sure, that there were no cameras in here or there's places I could hide or something in case something happened later.
It's worth noting, too, that Mr. Content is always wearing, like, a Hawaiian shirt.
I don't know why that's a problem. It's really weird you would bring up Hawaiian shirts specifically. Like, a lot of us guys wear Hawaiian shirts and they're fine.
Well, how else is everyone going to know you're a party guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
You got to
duh.
dress like Spuds McKenzie. And
You dress for the job you want, right?
Dude, that's actually very true. If I die,
Go
maybe one day if I die, it might happen, and I
Yeah.
could come back as anybody. Spuds McKenzie,
The original
Number
party
one.
edible.
but I could fuck women, like not dogs.
Jesus. We don't cover those kinds of movies here.
Like Spuds MacKenzie, but if he was an Animorph. You know what I mean? Like one of those books.
Oh, yes.
It all makes sense, you know? It kind of sounds like a plot to an Eddie Deason movie.
No. Now, hold on. Again.
I could see Eddie Deason running into Roger Corman's office. He goes, okay, so the plan is that I die, I turn into a dog, but I'm a dog that can fuck women.
Hey, I'm not Eddie Deason.
And Mr. Corman just goes, Eddie, it's nice to meet you, but Fred Olin Ray's office is down the block, so... And so here's the thing, though, is that this guy apparently was just in the house, walking around, checking it out, right? And now, do you think that one night Barack Obama woke up in his wing of the White House and just saw Joe kind of sneaking around, and he just said, I'm just checking it out, Barack. Just
in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. You know where the bathroom is or something? Yeah, you don't think there was any time when Barack rolled over to see Michelle in bed and right next to him was Joe Biden instead?
Just wearing a wig, just like tenderly like sniffing the back of his neck and kind of caressing him a little.
Guys, I was scared. I was wondering if I could sleep in your room tonight. Oh, Joe.
I had the dream again.
You, of course. Of course.
So this is the other problem I had with this scene, is that right after the creepy guy, Mr. Contant, whatever you want to call him.
Mr. Contant, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Contant goes, she's like, no, everything's fine here. You could leave. And he goes, are you sure you don't want me to wait until your friends arrive? And I go, well, how does he know that? Who the fuck told him that?
Hey, I was just hanging out in your high school. Remember when we were all in the shower? I mean, when you guys were all in the shower and they were talking real mean and I was hanging out, maybe we could just...
I know Diane's not coming. Or I know Valerie's not coming over.
You guys don't even have to know I'm here. Like, I could just hang out in one of the closets or something.
Yeah, you sure you don't want me to just hang around for the rest of the night,
What are you girls going to drink tonight? Could I, make some drinks for you?
If they didn't bring over drinks later, damn well he would have offered to buy them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There were going to be some Bahama Mamas coming.
They allude to it later.
The problem is that Mr. Contant would probably bring over a six-pack, and for some reason the beers are all open.
Yeah. The lid's popped on all of them, and they're fizzing a little more than they should.
It's for convenience.
Yeah, just so you can drink them now. Yeah, what happens next is that she goes, fine, you can wait here till the friends come over. And then we cut back to the coach, and she's making something in the kitchen, and wouldn't you know it, she drops a...
She's drinking sad wine, and she's making a sad quesadilla.
She's grating cheese with hot sauce, so there's no tortillas. There's nothing. I love to cook. Cooking is my passion. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. She's drinking wine in, a glass, not even a wine glass. There's no stem to it. She's holding it. The wine is at the bottom of the glass. Her hand is heating the wine up. What the fuck are we talking about here?
We're talking about depression, Eddie. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing this exact meal after we're done recording.
No, because you're not going to use a glass. You're going straight to the bottle like any real alcoholic would do.
True.
And I'm going straight to the cheese block, too. I'm not even going to grate it.
Yeah, you're just gnawing on the cheese block, swigging back a bottle of wine like, I'm fancy. I'm a fancy boy.
In my spats.
But when you know it, while she's grating that cheese, she drops that bottle of hot sauce, and it gets all over the floor like
God.
No,
blood
she drops the wine.
Oh, she drops the wine, which looks like hot sauce.
Well, because she made the wine glass too damn big, so she could...
Yeah. And it breaks all over. God damn it! It looks like blood all over the ground or something. And she picks up a piece of glass because she hears a sound, and she walks to the closet. Right? Yeah. She opens it,
and oh my God, it's Sneaky Pie Brown.
Oh! Sneaky Pie Brown, the spring-loaded cat from the closet. Yeah. Because I've never ever seen a horror movie before. A cat jumping out of a fucking closet.
That's a great point.
Definitely never saw a slasher movie.
This is just like when James Cameron used to say, I'd never seen a movie before I wrote one. Shut the fuck...
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw this out here right now. I'm sure Sneaky Pie Brown is not that breed of cat.
What?
Just going to go ahead and cover that right now.
Oh, yeah.
Is your wife in there?
No, she's not here right now. So when she hears the episode back, I'm going to make sure I included that.
So we cut to the Horn Boys, right? And they're walking down the street with their bikes, and they're bummed they didn't get invited to the big party tonight. they want to go and scare him anyways because one of them says, "You know how girls love to scream."
Oh, yeah, I do.
And he's like, "What's the worst that could happen?" And he responds with, "They'd beat the shit out of us." And he goes, "Well, we did flank Jim." He's like, "Well, we did flunk Jim." And he goes, "Yeah, 3 times."
So how old are these guys?
20.
28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about high school girls.
All right.
So now the girls arrive at Trish's house, and wouldn't you know it, a creepy man's just sitting below the stairs, right?
This is odd because the first thing they show us is that Mr. Contant has made her make him coffee.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, and he sat there and just made her make him a cup of coffee.
Well, he did a little negging or whatever that is, you know.
Well, yeah, you throw up an egg first. You're like, those. I mean, those are nice shoes. I don't know why a girl like you would wear them, but they work.
Now, how about some coffee?
How about some coffee, bitch?
It's very weird because Contant's inside. He's getting a cup of coffee, and then there's a creepy man beneath the stairs. And at first, I'm like, is that even Russ? Or is that just
just another random?
This is a goof. This is Visible
dude.
Crew.
Yeah, is this another guy?
The boom operator.
Okay, so now the doorbell rings and Trish answers it. Who is it? We're here for the orgy. Oh!
Hello.
Yeah. So here come the girls, right? Kim and Jackie are over here, and they've brought some, quote, soda pop.
Oh, yeah, that's great, because she goes, "Look what I scored from my brother," and she does a very dramatic,
Look,
soda.
I got crack, and we got dildos, and we're going to be doing, like, we're going to ride the Sibian, and Howard Stern's going to... And she's like, shh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shh.
You're blowing on my spot, bitch.
There's a weird man in here. And she says,
I brought no one to try a 1981 Sibian.
Yeah.
You're
Man, they
gonna
had to
get
bring
chased.
the truck. They had to bring a
That's
fucking
the
truck
drill.
to bring that thing over, man.
That's the drill. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how old computers took up a whole room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
they got it
old
on a
candy
trailer,
machines.
man.
We still have that shit in NASA, by the way. So you know, unofficially, anyhow. No, not Deason. Shut the fuck up.
Well, I mean, what are you guys gonna do after you faked the moon landing? You gotta put that shit somewhere.
So the faked moon landing, we had to do it. Okay, that's why the vice president is saying within the next 5 years we really have to get there.
And actually do it for real this time.
Mm-hmm. This time we're gonna do it for real.
She also says we brought the best Maui Wowie that money can buy.
Maui
And Trish is just
Wowie.
like, shut the fuck up, shut up. But then Mr. Contant just kind of walks in the room with his nose leading him like a cartoon.
Toucan Sam.
Yeah, he does.
He's going
He-
full like Monterey Jack from Rescue Rangers. Fucking cheese.
He floats through the room with his nose first, and he goes right up to the bag, and he's like, ah. And so then they're just like, oh, no. And he's like, I won't tell anybody. But here's the thing. When he walks out of the house, he tells Trish, he goes, I won't say anything about the drugs or alcohol, Trish, if you don't mention me sneaking around your house to your parents.
Yeah.
Blackmail. All right.
Hey, you owe me one.
Yeah.
That
and then he says,
was really strange.
Yeah, but then he says, well, that's not the... When we get to what he's doing later, that is...
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. We'll get to that. But he says, take it
It's
easy on the Maui
problematic.
Wowie. Then we cut to Valerie and her little sister, who's 20 years old, playing a 12-year-old, making Kool-Aid.
In real time.
Yeah,
So, okay,
in real time.
Here's where I'm going to call bullshit on the Kool-Aid.
Hit us, Deason.
No. So, she uses a very large packet of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
relative to the size of the jar that she's
It's a big
filling.
one.
Yeah. I happen to know that is a pre-sweetened packet of Kool-Aid. The sugar is
Oh, God.
included in that. And then after the fact, she adds more sugar.
Like half a bag.
You
like
know,
half
it's a
a
Friday
bag.
night. They're getting wild. You got to
You'll
have
let
the
your
extra
hair
sugar
down.
Kool-Aid. Yeah, you got to have the extra
you and
sugar.
your sister. Yeah.
Yep.
That Kool-Aid is going to be so grainy.
And then the best part is she makes a Jim Jones joke.
Oh, God. And I get that in, like, 82, it wasn't as tired of a joke.
No, it was hilarious back then. Like, the closer you are to Jim Jones, like, systematically eliminating a bunch of minorities in South Africa, like, that's even funnier, right?
It's nuts when people do it now. Every time someone uses a drinking the Kool-Aid reference, I'm like,
Hey,
dude.
drink the... It wasn't even Kool-Aid, though. That's the other thing. It was Flavor Aid.
Right. And that's my real problem with it.
Oh, okay. That's your problem. Okay.
Like,
Let's
get the
into
branding
why...
right.
You keep screaming Flavor Aid.
That's Flavor Aid. No, it's fine that he killed them, but it's Flavor Aid.
You know what?
Yeah.
Show some fucking respect for the people who died. Call it by its name.
We need historic accuracy.
Yeah, and I didn't know the exact line that Jim Jones said was "Shut up and drink your Kool-Aid."
Yeah, I don't remember. I actually listened to the audio tapes of that because you got to do something when you're beating off. And he does never says, shut up and drink your Kool-Aid. He says, like, you should give it to the children, and they're going to thrash around, and they look like they're suffering, but it's fine because they're going to a better place. And then that's right when you're about to nut. He never says anything about shut up and drink your Kool-Aid.
He never says
You
shut
know,
up.
Because it's Flavor Aid.
Well, you know, it's another one of those Mandela effect things.
Oh.
Yeah.
This film was made in the timeline where he did say it, but it has since changed.
Well, there's
okay.
also another historic inaccuracy that's coming up pretty soon.
Well, the next scene we see is Trish, Jackie, and Kim are all smoking a joint and eating Pringles. And Trish tells Kim, and the thing with Pringles is once you pop, you can't stop.
Right. So she tells her, hey, quit glomming the chips. And she goes, well, quit glomming the joint.
And when she says also, I got to eat all the chips before Diane gets here because she eats them all.
Because she's a fat fuck.
Yeah, every time she comes over, she eats all the fucking Pringles.
And what do guys see in her anyway? And they go, she's beautiful. He goes, well, I think she has a big mouth. And Kim says, well, it's not the size of the mouth. It's in it that counts.
Yeah.
Talk
What's
about
in your
dicks.
mouth?
Well, that's what girls do. Again, Amy didn't see the irony of all of this, is that when girls are alone, they just hang out and talk about dicks, I think.
Wait.
And Amy Jones is just like, well, right. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
What did dicks do in a mouth? That doesn't make any sense.
someone failed anatomy. Am I right?
What?
Can't even reach.
Yeah. They're all down below in the no-no area.
So Trish also says, she goes, well, I don't know what Diane sees in John Minor. And Kim says, maybe what we don't see. Oh.
Yeah.
And then Trish says, hey, it's not how big it is, remember?
Yeah.
And Jackie says, Kim? Or they both say, it's what's in it that counts?
Yeah, God.
Catheters.
No, it's God. God's in your dick, right?
Oh, no.
Well, that's
Gotta
how
let
you
'em
make
out.
babies, because God is life, and you put your life into a woman.
This makes sense. A strange sound is heard from the kitchen, right? And they go to investigate
There's
it.
the sound of glass breaking.
Yeah, and for some reason, Trish left a fucking coffee pot on the burner.
No, that was Bobby dropping his wine glass because of what I was just talking about.
Yeah,
But okay, go on.
It almost landed on my cheese.
Damn, I left my coffee pot on the fucking burner.
Who does this?
I don't
No
know.
one-
It's like, is this something they did in 1982?
Yeah.
I left my empty coffee pot with nothing in it on a hot burner. Whoops, it cracked.
It's all right though, because she just picks it up.
This typical
Yeah.
women shit, you know.
She grabs it with her bare hand. It was so hot that it
Yeah.
exploded. She's just like, well, let me just grab that out of the way.
let's get it out of the way.
Oh my god, they look out the window and Diane's there. And she's just staring. Like, how long was she fucking waiting there to scare them from the window?
Well, she heard them say the comment about her having a big mouth, so she just held it there.
We have
Oh,
to
that's true.
commit
She
to
does
the
have her
bit.
mouth
Like
open.
Like a fish on the side of an aquarium.
It did. It looked like a largemouth
It's like
bass.
a
on the window.
lamprey just hanging out.
Valerie and her sister, we cut to them, and they're hanging out. They're reading magazines when they hear a
Oh,
sound
man.
outside, right? And apparently they go, oh, it's that dog getting in the trash again.
They're reading magazines, but they're reading Playgirl.
Well, they are not reading the Playgirl yet.
No,
right?
they're just
Oh,
reading
okay,
they're
okay,
reading
sorry.
People magazine.
They're reading
and
Highlights
just-
magazine at this point.
My-
Yes, they're children.
my bad.
Okay.
They're finding out what Goofus and Gallant are up to, and they're doing it
Yes.
in the dark, by the way, which is really strange.
Yeah.
You know how you'll just read an issue of Boy's Life in the dark sometimes?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And so then little sister makes Valerie go outside because she's like, I'm too scared to walk around at night. And so Valerie goes outside, and right when she leaves the house, the little sister runs upstairs and she grabs that issue of Playgirl. And man, you know who's
And
on
who's
the
on the cover?
Oh,
Sly.
yeah. Stallone himself.
My guy.
By default, now a Grindbin All-Star.
Two appearances.
He's in here now.
Yeah. Another just picture of Stallone. We've never got a moving Stallone, but we have images, still images of him.
I looked up Sylvester Stallone Playgirl, and I couldn't find any pictures. Did you guys find any when you were looking it up and doing your research?
No, I did not, but I'm sure it's there, right? It's got to be.
Yeah?
Now,
Are
we
you
don't know
sure?
that he did a spread necessarily, just because he's on the cover.
Oh,
You
he's
know,
spread
might,
all right.
It might just be an interview.
That's true.
You know what? I bet that Playgirl just ran stills from Party at Kitty and Stubbs.
That could
which was
be.
later released as the Italian Stallion.
Yeah. So no, her sister's reading this Playgirl. Then Valerie's outside. She's putting the trash cans back, and then she hears a weird sound. She sees these swings in the backyard, and they're just swinging by themselves. She gets scared. She just kind of hits one of the trash cans and runs back into the house.
Well, she trips over it, doesn't hit it.
She trips over it, and then she runs back into the house. We cut to the Horn Boys, right? And they've arrived right on time.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
now. This was
Now
another
we're getting
Corman
into my
note.
territory. Okay, go on.
This was another Roger Corman note. It was just duct taped into the script at this certain page. Where Horn Boys come to open window, where girls. Here's the thing: when girls have a slumber party, and I assume this is true.
This is true.
They all like to get changed in front of each other.
They like to get nude.
They like to get naked in front of open windows.
Oh yeah,
in the living room.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do a similar dramatic reading as I did in the shower scene, or should we just move on?
No, I feel we should do that. Yes.
No, we'll just go ahead and move on.
Okay. And they start gossiping like girls do.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, about baseball.
I want to point out though that Kim switches into a U.S. Olympic team basketball jersey.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like
Big
the
fan of
dream,
the Dream
team from the
Team.
90s.
Yeah.
Like she's
Big
in like
fan of the
Chris
Dream
Mullins'
Team.
outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she does change, that's when one of the boys says, I haven't been giving Kim the attention she deserves. I was thinking maybe this was a moment where he got momentarily woke. And he's like, and the attention she deserves is none from him. And he's like, I shouldn't be standing in this window right now.
Yeah, no, he just stares at them getting naked in the window.
They're horrible people. One of them's got poodle hair, and the other one looks like an asshole. It's like the shitty, like, fucked up 80s movie equivalent of Corey and Trevor from Trailer Park Boys.
So they're all changed into their slumber party outfits, right? The boys are just watching the show. Then we cut to Valerie, and she's like, I wonder where my little sister went. And she's like, where are you? And Courtney says, I'm just doing my biology homework. As she's looking through that Stallone Playgirl.
Just working those fingers.
But Valerie knows.
She knows, because she immediately says, do me a favor, don't tear out the centerfold this time.
Hey-o.
As she tears out the centerfold. Oh.
Yep. Shit. So then we cut to Trish ordering a pizza for the party, right? And Diane goes outside to get some firewood for the fire they're never going to light.
But we get a no anchovies joke, too, because it's the 80s.
No anchovies. And then while Diane's outside getting firewood for the fire they're never going to start, we see a man holding a meat cleaver, a giant-ass meat cleaver.
Sneaking up.
And then Diane's grabbing wood from the woodpile, and ew, there's a snail in there.
Gross.
And then all of a sudden, it's cleaved.
Yeah.
Like a giant meat cleaver comes on screen and cleaves a snail.
Yeah.
I kind of like the thought of, the way this is going, and like they throw this slumber party and like 5 different slashers descend upon the house at the same time.
Yeah, that would have been good.
And you get sort of a Bugs Bunny and Daffy, hey, I'm working this side of the street.
Yeah, duck season, rabbit season, cabin in the woods.
Yes, it went out on Slasher CB radio channel, and everybody's converging on the house. I kind of like this.
Breaker 19, can I get a slasher check?
So no, the snail is cleaved, and she turns around, she's freaked out, and oh my god, it's Mr. Contant.
Yeah,
Now, she's freaked out for only like a hot second. Because once she realizes it's him, she's already establishes that she's used to him doing this.
Yeah, we're cool.
Yes. Yeah.
She's like, oh, yeah, hunting snails again?
Huh?
Yeah.
And he says, 53rd this evening.
53rd. Okay.
That's so many snails, dude. You're cutting
she
snails?
responds to that with, my dad does that too. No, he doesn't.
No,
Nobody
no one
does
does
this.
that. A lunatic does that.
A quote snail hunt where he goes around with a meat cleaver around the neighborhood chopping snails down.
This guy's getting drunk and he's stumbling around the neighborhood. It's a snail cut, and then that's a snail. That's a snail cut, and it's your cat. And then, no, that's a snail cut. It's the mailbox. And then one day it's just going to be the little boy that was out.
It's gonna be the biggest snail he'd ever seen.
The biggest snail ever. And then he's just in court defending himself.
He was wearing a helmet. What do you expect me to do? He was wearing a shell on his head.
and he's trying to get out of it with the Maui Wowie defense.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing, sir. It was the snails. The snails, they're in my brain.
And so Diane, while he's doing this rant, just goes, yeah, okay, I'm going back inside. And as she goes back inside, he then sees, oh my God, victim number 54.
Oh, man. He can't wait.
He sneaks up, Bobby.
And he goes for the chop. And my God, what happens? He gets a drill through the neck.
Through the throat.
And like the way he falls down, it looks like the drill bit came off.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
This thing's a piece of shit. Like every time he kills somebody, it falls apart.
We'll get into it, but it's a terrible weapon.
Yeah, it's a 6-foot-long drill bit that's very flimsy. I think he's got to bring a couple with him, man. So yeah, and by the way, the neighborhood's better off because Mr. Content's gone. Thank God.
I'm really starting to subscribe to that Russ Thorne as the protagonist idea.
You know, makes sense, right? It's all out of
He's
love,
just a
actually.
vigilante with a drill.
You know what? When he says it's all out of love, he really did. He saved them from creepy Mr. Content, who was going to eventually get so drunk he was going to run inside with that meat cleaver, and who knows what he'd do. So now the Horn Boys are walking around, and they heard something, right? Oh, but Jeff says he's got an idea, and they're going to scare the girls. So we cut inside, and the girls are reading the horoscopes from the paper, okay? And Trish is cold, so she gets up and closes the window, and then she notices a weirdo guy just staring at her from the window.
She sees Thor just hanging out. He's like, hey.
She closes the window, but here's the thing, is when she sees Russ outside, she doesn't even really get that freaked out. She just is like, oh, that's weird.
There's a dude sitting on the front porch.
She lives next to Mr. Content. So this is a normal night for her. Ugh.
This guy is like an Ed Gein type. He's wandering around with wigs, with fucking hatchets, and cutting up all sorts of weird animals. There he is. He's just wearing denim tonight. Whatever.
Yeah, just Ernest P. Worrell hanging out up front.
Trish looks out the window again, and she tells her, oh my God, there's something out there. And then she sees that Barbie doll from earlier in the day that she threw in the trash is now like mangled and stuck onto the window frame.
Yeah, it's actually the Barbie has been attached to the meat cleaver, and the meat cleaver got chopped into the window frame.
Yeah, but nobody heard it.
Yeah, but that's what the image was. I backed it up and froze it so I could figure out what the fuck I was looking at.
Me too, because she was standing next to it in the fucking window, and nobody heard the chunk of the things being sunk into the fucking door or whatever.
Well, and also her reaction is kind of like, ugh, not again. It's not even that she's like terrified. She's just like, ugh, Mr. Content's at it again.
Just nonplussed about it. Like, man, whatever.
In fact, one of the lines is, it must have been those boys.
Yeah, they did it again.
Yeah. And then Trish is worried. She's like, Diane, did you lock the garage door? Which I didn't even think Diane went to the garage to get the firewood. I thought she was in the driveway. But she asked Diane, she goes, did you lock the garage door? And she's like, yeah. Or she goes, did you shut it? She goes, yeah, I shut it. And she goes, but did you lock it? Because my dad has a bunch of stuff in there. So then they go out, her and Diane go out to lock the door, right? Mm-hmm. And while they're in there, oh my God, there's a shadow of a man. He films the frame, right?
Yeah. It was a pretty cool shot, actually.
Yeah.
Looked good.
But him standing up into the frame suddenly to reveal that he's been inside the garage the whole time.
Yeah, but nothing happens in the garage. They go back to the party, and then we cut to Valerie and her sister, and Valerie comes in, and she ruins the Playgirl session, and then she comments...
Hey, fork it over, shortcakes. And she responds to it with, it's all right, I finished with it anyway. I'm like, ugh.
And then Valerie picks up a banana peel?
Yeah, and she's like, what?
I'm like, what the fuck?
Don't talk about that.
We don't need to address it.
I'm like, okay.
And I feel like this is, again, the intentional role reversal of the genders. Because you basically have a teenage girl who just whacked off to a nudie mag.
Yeah, it's American.
And is being very flippant about it.
You know how that makes it even better, though, Bobby? Is that she's licking a giant lollipop like you'd get from Disneyland. Like a giant lollipop that a 5-year-old would lick.
I mean,
now, do you think the stuff with like the lollipop, that was some Corman shit?
That really makes it better, dude.
Yeah.
You're so right.
I mean, you know that they had to be like, Corman, we can't have her in pigtails. That we can't go that far.
Listen,
like
she already disappeared the banana. Now she's going to lick on the lollipop, and you're totally into it. I get it.
At some point, Corman angrily had to throw away a parasol.
Definitely.
Like, God damn it, throw it in the dumpster. So then, in classic Grindbin tradition, we smash cut to a guy's asshole.
Yeah.
Because we suddenly get a shot of the magazine, And it's like a naked guy checking his fridge. Did you catch that, Eddie?
He's like bent over looking in and the fridge is going to come up later too, by the way. The thematically, I don't know what we've got going on here. It's wonderful though. I'm appreciating that we're finally getting some man ass involved.
You know, there's always room.
Mm-hmm.
We never get enough of it. This is where we get to a very upsetting part now too, because the sisters are kind of ribbing each other about this, and the younger sister, Courtney, was it? You know, she tries to play a little coy. You know, she's like, naked guys, ew, I wasn't looking at that.
Yeah.
And this is a troubling line of dialogue. Val goes, "Oh, please, you were beating off boys in the 5th grade."
I mean, we all were, but
right, we all played Monster Rain, but you know, this is, but yeah, Jesus Christ, I don't. That's not some dialogue I need.
Then she pauses, like there's a moment she pauses, she's like, "Did you tell Mom about that?"
And she goes, "About the 5th grade? No, I made that up." And then she goes, "No, you didn't. I hate you. I'll get you for this."
No,
I'm like, hold on.
You didn't. I literally jerked dudes off in the 5th grade. Oh, I mean, yeah.
It's a really weird turn there that she's enraged that she's claiming she didn't do this.
Yeah. No, of course I jerked dudes off in the 5th grade.
I feel like this is a duck season, rabbit season. She got her. You know, she got her to be angry about not doing it.
I don't. If you're going to say I didn't do this and shut the fuck up, this is the wrong way to defend that point entirely.
You know, sometimes the emotions just take over, and you don't even know what you're fighting for anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
it just
that's
happens.
really the theme of the podcast.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Right. And so now we go to Diane is going to call her boy, her guy, you know, John Miner.
Yeah.
And the girls are listening in on the other phone line.
That's so weird, too. Do girls do that? Did you do that when you were a girl?
You know, when I was a little girl, no.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't. And I think that's how I knew I wasn't destined to be one.
What did you call her? Bobo or her boo-boo? Or
yeah, she goes, "Hi, boo-boo."
Hi, boo-boo, yeah.
Which,
hey, honey,
when I was a little girl, I had a cat named Boo-boo.
Oh.
So, more good cat material this episode.
Yeah.
Well, I do love that part when Diane hears them laughing on the other end of the phone, and she says, "I think our First Amendment's been violated."
Because no one in the history of America has ever had a firm grasp on what the First Amendment covers.
Speaking of firm grasp, she's asking her boo-boo if she's, like, getting better at that thing.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I think we get it.
No, I mean, I'm a dude. I've never been like, hey, you know, sweetheart, you could actually do a better job of that. I've always just been like, oh, thank you so much for doing that. And if you ever deign to do that again, I'm here for you.
You don't leave notes?
It was a scene that they cut out, actually. The two of them juggle.
Oh. Okay, makes perfect sense.
Okay, that makes
sense.
Yes.
He's actually Boo-Boo the Clown.
How much you want to bet, though, if we cut to the reverse of John Miner on the phone when she hung up, the first thing he says is First Amendment.
It's a little early in the relationship to be making amendments.
Freedom of speech? Are you talking about the separation of religion and state? Because I implicitly agree with that. Because what happens is if you actually allow the state to legislate what the religious institutions are doing, then you're saying that the religious institutions are allowed to enact and affect a state legislature. And they're not really allowed to do that because you don't want to have a theocracy, right?
And this is when the mom walks in the room and goes, John, there's nobody on the other end of the phone. John, you're talking to me now. I'm trying to make a phone call. John?
That's the banana that she made disappear previously.
He answered the banana phone.
John, that's a banana. John.
Ring,
I'm sorry.
ring,
John
ring.
Miner. John Miner, that's a banana. Oh, okay.
Now he's listening.
Okay.
So suddenly the lights go out as she hangs up, and all the girls are walking around with their lighters, and Trish goes, it must be a fuse. We should go check the fuse box. Because, fuses just blow on their own randomly, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Fuses just go out.
Yeah. I don't know. I live in a small apartment, and sometimes when I'm microwaving a quesadilla, my fuses will go.
Wait, you microwave a quesadilla?
Come on.
Sometimes.
Hold on, full stop. We got to get into this.
Okay, I don't know how high you get, but
Sometimes you don't want to even turn on the burner.
So you and that poor girl grating the fucking cheese for the sad, lonely quesadilla that tips
then
over
we
the
put
wine
it in the
glass.
microwave.
You two are soulmates. You really are.
So then Diane goes, well, where are you going? And Kim says, don't worry, we got it. You talk to Boo Boo. And Kim, or I love this as Diane looks at her and goes, Kimberly, your days are numbered.
Like, I'm gonna kill you. What the fuck?
God. And they realize in this that it's not that the fuses are blown, but rather some of them are missing. Somebody pulled fuses.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they really don't even think it's that weird because Trish just goes, it's the damnedest thing. These fuses aren't blown, but they're kind of missing.
Yeah, but they say they're gonna go to the garage. They don't go to the garage.
I don't know. Where the
They
fuck
go to the
they
basement.
Go? Okay,
They go
and
to
that's
the
another
basement.
thing. We
Because
are in
later on-
California, and there's a basement.
No, there's no basement.
No.
I'm in
There's no
California.
basements
There's
in LA.
no basements in California.
Not a single one.
Not in Los Angeles.
No.
Not that I've seen. No, but it was, guys, the fuses are gone, right? And they're in the basement garage, wherever we are. The garage isn't even attached to the fucking house. Why would the fuse box be there? It doesn't even make sense.
But why would it be in the basement either? Like, it's always outside.
And somebody's here.
Oh, no. Because she drops her flashlight, and when she rises up, there's a man standing
Yep.
there. So she clocks him in the face with it like a police officer.
Like you would.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's the smartest thing that happens in this movie.
It's the Horn Boys.
Fucking Jeff.
Yeah.
And the other kid, not Jeff, goes, oh,
Jeff
here are
and
the
not
fuses. Yeah, that's their names, I believe. Jeff and not Jeff.
Hornboy 2.
Not Jeff. Hornboy 2 goes, oh, sorry, here's the fuses.
Yeah. Like, that's a good prank, guys. You got us.
Well, you know what the thing is, though? It was a good prank, because they did get into the party after this.
Oh, yeah.
So it did
that's
work,
true.
guys.
It just had to work once.
This is how they all planned it out in their heads. And
It's
it
gotta
worked.
be a little more aggressive.
Yep.
You're right.
There you go. And by aggressive, he means pull the fuses in her house.
Yeah, break into somebody's house, pull the fuses out so the power goes out, and then startle them.
Yeah, and startle him enough so she'll hit you in the face, and then she has to say she's sorry to you.
Perfect.
Yep. So then we cut to Valerie's house, and she hears something. She goes to check on it, right? And those garbage cans, God damn it, they're knocked over again.
Again.
So she puts them back up, and then she checks on those swings again. All of a sudden, she's grabbed from behind, and it's her little sister, but her little sister's holding a real knife to her neck.
She's still really worked up about her
Courtney's
sister
gonna
claiming
kill her.
that she didn't beat off boys.
Hey, listen, I didn't jerk a boy off, and I'm going to stab you.
Yeah, I have a knife to your throat, and Valerie's like, what the fuck? It's a real knife. And she's like, it's pretty dull. It wouldn't have done much damage.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Besides, you deserved it after what you said.
So then we cut to John Miner, and he's sitting in the driveway of Trisha's house just honking the horn on his car, which I feel like is how he thinks cars are started.
Yeah.
He just honks the horn until his mom comes out and turns the key because he doesn't really get it.
Hey, bring the vagina out. Bah, 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 bah. It's like you're in a fucking Sonics, and you're just waiting there because the goddamn intercom thing doesn't work, and you're like, where's that bitch that's going to bring me my slushy thing? Hey.
When you're sitting in your matte black Charger.
Mr. Deason, we told you can't come here anymore.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah. So no, Diane runs out, and she's like, John Miner, is it okay? Do you know how to start the car again? And he goes, let's go party.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, I can't leave. I'm at a slumber party, but why don't you park in the garage and we can hang out for a while? And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing is when he parks in the garage, did they make a point to show that she didn't lock the garage again? Or that
Yes.
Yeah.
They focus
she forgot to lock it
on the where you would stomp down with your foot, because they
Yes.
bring it up earlier. They say,
That's the
yeah, you
lock.
just have to put it down with your foot. And they make a point to say she did not do that before she gets in to get her nipples touched.
Yeah, because she goes in the car,
Lot of nipple play this episode.
and we get cutaways to the girl who actually would do it, who got the $50 bill raised in the air by
Yep.
Mr. Corman. But no, Valerie and her little sister are having... Now Valerie's giving her little sister a makeover.
And she goes, you messed my hair up and you're dead meat, Val. And she means it because she's already jumped her with a knife. And she has an introspective moment, and she goes, will I ever be beautiful?
No.
And Val thinks about it and goes, not a chance.
Nah, look at you. You dumb
Hey, are there-
bitch.
She's like, are there boys over at that party? And she's like, there's always boys
Yeah, but
over
they'll
there.
never want you. Like,
Valor's just
duh.
like putting her sister down the whole time. And she's like, should we go over and crash the party? And Valerie's like, no, let's just stay here and wait for the movie to come to us. So we go to the sleepover house, and the Horn Boys can barely contain themselves. Their plan worked like a charm. They're inside the house now, and they're watching Kim and Jackie as they cut strawberries to make strawberry daiquiris. And you know what? They're talking about this baseball game. They must be talking about the Dodger game.
Yeah, and this is where it gets a little supernatural. Okay? So, the score was that they got 6 points.
They won
But
by
they
6
can't-
runs, apparently. Or they got
They won
6
by
runs.
Yeah, they got 6 runs and they won. But they can't figure out exactly how they got the 6 runs.
They know some guy homered.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't know the rest, and they will never stop talking about it for the rest of the
No.
movie.
For the entirety of the movie until their bitter death,
Yeah.
that's the only thing going on.
But while they're going on and on and on about 6 runs in baseball, I just keep writing my notes. What the fuck happened to that pizza? They ordered that thing like
Yeah.
hours ago. At this point, where the fuck is Pizza Hut?
It's been a minute. Maybe all of the pizzas had anchovies on them, and they're like, fuck, we got to pick them all off.
Yeah. Everyone came out of the oven with anchovies on it. Fuck,
Yeah.
we messed up again.
Fuck, it's the 80s, and nobody likes anchovies because that's the punchline. God damn it. Meanwhile, anchovies on pizza, not bad.
I worked at Round Table for 3 years when I was
Whoa.
in high school, and there was only 2 pizzas ever ordered with anchovies. But we
I've
had them.
had-
We had them
I've
every
had 'em.
fucking day.
I had pizzas with anchovies, and they were all right.
Yeah, just a little salty. I ate one once. It was salty. So, and it
They
also
are
been in that
salty.
fucking cooler for like a year.
I always would sit at the king's table. How there's the big chair that's like the king? I always would sit there.
Oh, at a round table?
Yeah.
You know, funny thing about the round table I worked at, not one table that was round. All square.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was also not round. Good point. Thank you.
And you
bunch
know
of
what?
liars.
Every time somebody would walk in the restaurant, I'd be like, hey, where's the round table?
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
you know what? You know what, guy? I haven't heard that one. That was fucking great.
Wow. Are you going to do a tight 5 on the fucking anchovies next? Like,
Yeah.
go sit down and eat your shitty pizza. Fuck you.
And John Miner's like, well, not now.
Yeah. And then I'd just sit there and I'd wait, and then finally it goes, and where's King Arthur? Ah, there we go. There we go. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
That was his last day at Round Table Pizza.
They should have called it round pizza.
Well, then you would have had the Little Caesars guys in
Oh,
there.
that's true. And you don't want the Caesar fighting with King Arthur.
Yeah. Do you think
No.
anybody ever goes into Little Caesars and starts making Caesar references?
I assure you the teenagers behind the counter don't know what that would mean.
I would say all of the roads are straight leading to Little Caesars.
They're like, look, do you want a hot and ready or what?
Yeah. Is that pepperoni or sausage?
Well, there's no such thing as hot and now because Rome wasn't built in a day.
So the next thing that
Anyway.
happens is that the Horde boys are all excited, but one of them's got a big black eye now, and Trish says, we'll take care of that. Yeah. And
He's like, have you got a steak? And they're like, no. He goes, well,
No.
what else can we use?
well, this was
Wieners.
never a thing. It's called ice, but this was never a fucking thing, right? Where people would put
No,
steak,
Steak on a black eye?
Yeah.
Just putting a cold compress on it so that you reduce the inflammation.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to get E. coli in my eye. I'd much rather, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Frozen peas was the move.
There you go. But no, she's looking for a steak, but all she can find is hot dogs.
Yeah, she put a wiener in his eye.
Yeah, she put a wiener in his eye.
Little symbol.
Oh, there you go. Roles reversed, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So now Diane and John are in the car, John Miner in the car, and he wants to get busy, but she says it's a bad idea because, Bobby, take it away. It's a line we're very familiar with.
She says, we can't do this here. Can't we go inside? And she says, it's been like Grand Central Station all night.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Which is...
Hell Squad.
Yes. What is this, Grand Central
What is
Station?
Grand Central Station? So, yeah.
I think that might be the 3rd or 4th time we've had someone make that comment.
It's going to be in Grindbin Bingo. Grand Central Station.
Yeah, it was in the Weird Al Yankovic song "One More Minute." Ladies and gentlemen, it is if you look up the lyrics. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd rather clean all the toilet seats in Grand Central Station with my tongue than spend one more minute with you.
Oh, right. I do know that line.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, not Deason.
Not decent. So John tries to convince her. John Miner's like, hey, why you come to my house?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, I don't want to leave the girls.
No, come my house, make fuck.
And she goes, oh, yes, your meathead charm's working. I'm going to go inside and tell him. So she goes inside, and Trish, that's when she's putting wieners in a guy's eye. And then Diane goes, hey, I'm going to go get some alcohol. And Trish is like, you can go fuck John Miner. I don't care.
Why is there a weird subtext about how Trish is not going to approve of her going and fucking?
It's very weird. Yeah, like Trish is the mom or something like that.
Yeah, like Trish is going to have a problem with this. And then Trish is
Nobody
like,
cares.
yeah, go ahead and get that dick wet.
Yeah, she's like, go
what
ahead.
the
I don't
fuck?
fucking care.
You're going to get a beer, quote unquote. I'm going to go get beer,
Yeah.
quote unquote. I know what getting a beer with my friends from work means. We all know what getting a beer means.
Yeah,
Like, what?
we're going to go to a
Come on.
dark parking lot in our car.
Yeah, we're going to fuck.
So, Bobby, she goes into the garage, right? And she tells John the good news.
She goes, well, that was a bitch, but now it's done. And first of all, no, it wasn't. That was the easiest thing. You're like, I'm going to go. And they're like, cool.
Yeah.
She's like, cool, go get beer. Cool, whatever.
But yeah, she was like, well, that was a bitch, but now it's done. And then she gets in the car, and John Miner's fucking head rolls on.
Right off of his fucking head. His head falls off of his shoulders. Problem.
Great. I loved it. This is maybe my favorite scene of the whole
It was
movie
really
when she
good.
goes to
It
kiss
was
him with that.
very good.
And she screams that she's hogging the horn, but god damn it, Jackie's using the blender. So nobody can hear her.
Those fucking daiquiris will be the death of me and you, ladies and gentlemen. And they're still talking about the score from last night's game, by the way.
Yeah. They're talking
What
about the
the fuck?
score, the blender's going, and Diane at all this gets drilled to death in the garage.
Well, yeah, she busts out of the car. He pushes her against the wall. She slinks down, and we get the phallic drill between the legs. And what I
Hey,
like to
Amy
call
did
Not
not.
symbolism.
Hey, we don't see it at all, Eddie. There's
What
no
is that?
symbolism.
It's what I like to call the porno shot that they keep doing and no one's asking for, which is behind the guy, under the balls. You see the asshole, and there's the vagina, but who can pay attention to it? Right?
As that drill
Personally,
just...
I
Am
think
I
that's
right?
I think that's the classiest angle. Personally,
You think that Amy had no idea what this was while she was filming it? Like, she really just set up this shot by herself?
it's a really
and
strange
just-
like bit of denial. You look at the rest of the movies that she worked on, and the fact that she's not a horror fan at all. I think she just pushed it all out of her brain. Was like, I don't know anything about this movie.
Yeah.
Do you think she's
I don't know what
doing
any of
that?
it meant. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah,
or
just
she
like
just-
Romero hated horror and didn't like zombies.
Do you think
Yeah.
that she's just fucking with you?
Probably.
Me personally,
Yeah. Do you think she's just like on this thing?
it was
like,
weird that she kept looking right into the camera.
This deadpan
She
down
mouthed
the
my
barrel.
name.
Yeah.
Bobby, I've never seen a horror movie before.
Never.
I'm like, surely that can't be. And she's like, no.
And this
I've
this
not.
part where a man drops a 6 foot long drill bit between his legs, it's not It's not symbolic at all, man.
No, Bobby, that's in your head.
Yeah, you're the
What's
one with the
wrong with you?
problems.
You need help,
Yeah.
man.
You should talk to Eddie Jefferson about this.
Yeah.
And so, while no one inside the house heard any of the honking, the glass breaking, or the
Yeah.
drilling, or the screaming, the neighbors did.
Oh, yeah, no, the drill, but you can't hear that. You can't hear the screaming, the honking of the horn. But the neighbor girl is like, oh,
He's like, hey, you think they're doing something freaky over there?
what's going on? That sounds good. And she's down. She's like down for a weird BDSM, like strapped down, drill bits going, 82 Sibian genitortures like thing going on.
Wow.
She's down.
Yeah, but
Took
then
that
they're
one
like,
for a walk.
it's probably nothing.
That's cool.
Yeah, like everything else in this movie. That's weird, but okay.
Whatever.
Valerie and her little sister just kind of wait for the movie to come to them. They're just sitting
Yeah.
there, just
Yeah.
waiting. They're like, it'll come over here eventually if it's important. So we
By the
come
way,
back
still
to the
talking
the
about
girls.
baseball.
Yeah, the girls and the horn boys are still trying to figure out how those 6 runs were scored, right?
Yeah.
And they're drinking daiquiris. Then the doorbell rings. Oh my God, it's the pizza.
Pizza's here.
We almost forgot.
And the boys are going to pay for it to
and-
make up for the uncomfortable shit that
And how
happened
much
earlier.
is the pizza?
And they go, hey, what's the damage? And the voice behind the door goes, 6 so far.
So there's the next 6. 6
Oh.
deaths. $6 for the pizza. 6 points in the baseball game. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the supernatural 666. It's the number of the beast.
You know, that's
Oh my
actually
God.
great. Eddie, I'd never realized that, but you're totally right.
Anyhow.
I don't think it's symbolic at all. So
No,
Kim
not
and
at all.
Jackie...
It's just stupid.
they just keep talking about how there were 6 runs scored in the baseball game. And I'm like, if you want to know how they were scored at this point, get the fucking paper. You were reading it earlier. It's going to have the goddamn box score if you really need to know.
Yeah, and it spells axe wrong on the paper, so who knows if they're fucking accurate with anything.
That's true. So then they get their money together for the pizza man. They open the door, and oh my god, his eyes are drilled out.
This is such a great fucking shot. Like, his eyes are so drilled out, and he just falls straight down with the pizza.
It's like something out of Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
He's just standing perfectly still and then falls forward, stiff as a board.
It's like they did the friendship to him, and he just fell through the door with the pizza.
Well, they
You
fucked
win.
it up, though.
I did like the nice touch that even though he had his eyes drilled out and he falls dead to the floor, that Russ was out there making sure that he stood upright with the hat on and the pizza box in his hand still, right? And the crazy bread in the bag.
You think he was like half in the bush with like a hand to his lower back so he didn't fall back?
He's
Yeah,
like,
and he
I'm
did the
about to go direct and produce movies.
He did the Kevin McAllister. He goes, yes, as it worked perfectly.
He goes, Russ!
And so then Trish screams, and the Horde boys drag the body inside. And they slam the door, and then on the other end of the phone, the coach. Okay, at one point they call the coach from the PE team
Because
and
they're trying
go,
to figure out the fucking score of the baseball game again.
They call her up.
What?
They go, look, we know it's like 11 o'clock at night, coach, but
Yeah.
can you tell us? Do you remember how those 6 runs were scored last night at the Dodger game?
Hey, you remember how in high school you used to always call the coach?
Yeah.
Like, just because you were curious about the fucking score of a game?
Yeah.
And you're just
All
like
the time.
talking to her. 6, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they're talking about, yeah, I got the dollar bills here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like electric company and we're counting and stuff's going on. A guy dies.
And they're screaming, and the coach hears it on the other end, and they just hang up, and the coach is like, I wonder if something's wrong.
No, they cut the guy outside cuts the cable.
Oh, that's right. Actually, he doesn't yet because
Oh, no, that's
Trish
true.
calls
That's
the
true, yes.
police because they hang up on the coach. She's like, that was weird. And then Trish picks up the phone. She calls the police. She's like, okay, we're at 1-3, and then the line goes dead. Yes, because Russ cuts it. And then we see Canadian Tuxedo Russ just lurking outside the window watching them.
With, like, he's got, like, some weird snippers now along his tool belt besides the drill. He's got some weird wire cutters. Whatever. So we were just saying that she was talking to the 911 dispatcher, relaying the address, and then...
They get cut off.
Canadian Tuxedo Boy, with some weird, like, snippers that he never had before, just cuts the line. Whatever. Could have used the drill. Maybe not. I don't know.
I would have liked it to see the drill come on frame, and he just drills through the phone line.
Yeah.
The next thing we see is that the coach calls Valerie, and she's like, hey, is anything going weird on over at that house next to you?
Hey, can you go over and just check in on them? Maybe is everything cool?
Yeah, and she's like, all right, that's fine. And then she hangs up, and the little sister comes in. She's like,
Courtney,
hey, I'll go
yeah.
check on him.
Yeah,
There's
I'll
some
go
boys
check. 'Cause I
over
want
there.
to fuck.
Yeah, and she's like, nope, stop it right now.
Hey.
So Valerie's like, don't go over there and check on that house. It's a bad idea.
No.
So then we cut back to the girls, Trish and the girls and the Horn Boys. And the Horn Boys come up with this amazing plan to, quote, help the girls.
Yeah, they go through a laundry list of the worst fucking ideas in every slasher movie because clearly the director's never seen one. Hey guys, let's split up. Let's turn out all the lights. Let's shut all the fucking curtains. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Number one,
I'm gonna
let's
make a
shut
run.
off all the lights. Number two,
Yeah.
let's split up and run.
Yeah.
And they're like, that sounds like a great idea.
Great idea.
I love this as the Horn Boy 2 looks at Jeff and he goes, okay, so if we both run, one of us will make it.
It reminds me a little bit of what was the You're Next, when the girl's like, I can sprint out the front door as fast as possible. I'm so fast.
It's a great scene.
Oh, I love that movie. See that movie as well.
So he's like, look, if we both run, at least one of us will make it to Valerie's house alive, and the other one, maybe. And so then Trish goes like, well, that sounds great. You guys go run outside. Here's some knives. We'll just hang out in the house. Go run around.
And when he receives the knife, he goes, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have dropped that at Cub Scouts. I know how to use this thing.
I don't know what to do with a knife.
I do love this as Trish is like, yeah, that's great. Why don't you guys go outside? Cool. Go take care of them. We're just going to hang out here.
Good to hear.
Good, thank you. So they go, all right, Now you go out the front door, Hornboy 2, and Jeff, Hornboy 1, you go out the back door. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and they open it, and then they both run out, and they shut the doors, and they're like, all right, well, we took care of that problem.
Well, he gets kind of like caught up in the garage door, though, right? He can't open it, and Diane is hanging from the ceiling.
Just like a scene in Friday the 13th from the year prior.
That she's never seen.
Oh, I was
definitely
going to
not-
say, she's hung out like Batman.
She like rolls down too. It's so fucking like very perfectly timed by the killer. By the way, I don't know how he pulled that one off, but then homie just gets like drilled
right through the heart.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, it's pretty good, though.
And he screams, but nobody hears that.
So we cut to Little Sister. She's on the phone, and Valerie's watching a movie on TV, and then Hornboy 2 comes running to the front door, and he's like banging on the door. He's like, somebody answer the door. Valerie, my God, let's answer the door. Now, here's the thing, is that Valerie's watching the TV, right?
Yeah. A horror movie, yeah.
And you see her kind of look towards the front door,
yeah.
and I almost felt like she was just ignoring it. Like,
No, she was.
not-
She definitely was. She heard it and didn't give a fuck.
Totally. She like looks at the front door, she's like,
I don't like that guy.
I could do without that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her.
And Courtney's upstairs talking about like tongue kissing people, so that's cool.
Yeah, we have to watch hear a 12-year-old girl talking about that. That's great. She's licking a giant lollipop. Very creepy.
Yeah, with a disappeared banana.
And so then when Valerie finally gets annoyed enough that somebody's banging on the door, she gets up to answer the door, and there's that great intercutting between her and the movie that she's watching.
It's pretty cool.
That was really good. Like,
yeah,
super
where somebody stands up and they use the same shot, and she walks to the front door, but at the same time she goes to look out the peephole, the Canadian tuxedo, Russ, just runs up, and then him and Hornboy get in a fight, and it's just out of frame, so Valerie doesn't see anything.
Just a command of using the camera.
Yep, and she just goes back to her movie and is like, fuck it.
Whatever. What are you going to do about it?
And so then we just watch Hornboy 2 get murdered horribly outside.
Yeah, but he gets stabbed with a knife. There's no drill. Like, that doesn't even feel right.
He didn't even get drilled.
I know.
Yeah,
So-
you got to drill him.
Is this drill battery operated?
Has to be.
Okay, so we got to get into
powered by
the
love.
logistics of the drill. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Is it hand
It's-
crank?
That'd be
I
amazing.
suppose. Maybe it's steam powered. Maybe he's some.
He has to
weird,
blow
like,
into a tube.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's some like Ayn Randian Bioshock thing where he's putting plasmids in it or something. I don't know.
Sometimes he uses that drill in the middle of wherever he is outside the backyard. I would love it if he's just running around with a giant extension cord the whole movie.
Well, the drill is a piece of shit, and we're going to get into that later.
Yeah.
Like, it's so useless.
So, yeah, well, apparently he had to change the drill bit at this point because he kills this guy with a knife. He doesn't even use the drill.
It's the knife that
Just
Neil
done.
was handed, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah. And so then he carries the body back to the garage where he's now hiding them all in a trunk in
Yeah.
John Miner's car. It's getting a little
Yeah.
full, though. He's got a lot of bodies in there.
But he counts them, and there's only 4, and he's like pissed. He's like, ah, shit.
Because he has to go back and he
Fuck.
realizes one of them's not gone.
But
he
somebody
counts
left.
them like the count on Sesame Street.
Yeah.
One dead teen.
2. And then he goes, wait a second. Ironically, Jeff is crawling around the backyard like a snail, trying to get back into the house.
See, there's
Okay, I see
symbolism.
what you're doing there.
Amy actually
Oh.
got that part.
Did she?
No.
Very good.
So then Kim, Jackie, and Trish are sitting huddled around each other with knives. I like that. They're just. By the way, this would probably be your best bet if you're like.
They're smart. They're the smart ones. They're like, hey, let's all just like sit in the Triforce layout with a knife and huddle between each other, like, and whoever comes here, kill the fuck out of them.
Yeah. So we got all our angles covered. There's nothing we can't see.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're hungry.
Yeah. Well, you gotta
And
eat.
so they cover the pizza guy to give him a little bit of, a little privacy.
Yeah.
A little dignity in his death. And they go, God, he's so cold. And then one of them
Yeah.
goes, is the pizza?
Look, bitch, I'm hungry.
And she lays
Yeah.
the box on his corpse.
like a picnic. Like a lovely picnic out in the forest. You lay down the blanket,
course.
you put the pizza on
It's
top, and you
beautiful.
just have a...
This is
Yeah.
this is my favorite line in the whole movie.
Her explanation?
Yeah, and it's just so sad that she only acted in one movie because this performance is so good.
I love her so much.
Where Jackie takes a piece of pizza out of the box and she goes,
Yeah.
And then Jeff's crawling like a snail on the back, just like clawing at the door, and they're just like, "What the fuck?" And so they kind of,
someone's at the door.
Yeah, they go into the kitchen. They're like, "Should we let him in? Because it might be the killer."
He's just crying
Might be the
against the
dude.
door.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "But it might be Jeff." And Trish is like, "Well, I don't really care either way."
And so they just let him die. They listen to it happen.
Yeah, yeah. And then they just kind of go back in the other room.
Man, they did Jeff dirty,
Yeah.
man. This episode's for Jeff.
So the blood like leaks under the door, and then we cut to the gym teacher.
She's driving to the
drive
house.
over.
Yeah, we cut to a shot of her driving in the car. Yeah. And
The
now
hero.
Valerie has lost her little sister, right?
Well, her sister like sneaks out for whatever reason again to get fucked.
Yeah, yeah. And she's looking through. Valerie looks through the window and she notices her walking toward Trish's house. She's like, "God damn it!" So Valerie walks over to the house. She knocks on the door, but there's no answer. And
Nobody.
inside, Jackie just starts freaking out for no reason. She's like, "Oh my God, we gotta go answer the door! It's Valerie! Oh my
It's
God!"
Valerie. We gotta get her in here.
And Kim and Trish are like, "What the fuck? Who cares? I'm not going outside."
Hey, I don't know. Maybe she's got some shit to deal with on her own. I have no idea.
Well, she does, because Jackie just runs downstairs, flings open the front door, and gets slit in the throat.
Okay, and let's talk about that. How the fuck are you going to slit a throat with a drill?
Yeah, that part I did not understand.
Makes no sense.
Slit
But
right,
whatever.
ear to ear with a drill bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they don't care. They just kind of run back up to the stairs. So, like, Kim and Trish just go back to the room. They're like, "All right, well, we're not going to leave the room anymore." They put a bookcase in front of it. They're like, "Okay,
Yeah, we're done.
I don't think we should shut the open window, though. I don't think that would be a problem.
Yeah, leave that open.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But let's barricade ourselves in this bedroom." And so then Trish and Kim are just sitting in there. And that's when I do love this is Kim's like, "Well, do you think we should go help Valerie?" And Trish goes, "Fuck no, I don't even know. Maybe she knows the killer."
Yeah, maybe they're working together because we didn't invite her to the party.
And Kim responds with, she goes, "That would be a little dramatic."
Wow. Maybe.
Well, you know those girls, right? Always
when you
drama.
don't get invited to a party and you go on Craigslist and you're like, "Hey, there's a party where there's a bunch of girls. I want you to go in there and like phallically rape them with a 6-foot-long drill just to get revenge." And then you actually find the guy who's cool with that. And then you're like, "Yeah, let's hook that up because that's just how the world works."
Yeah, they ordered a pizza. You can use that as payment.
Yeah. You've got a drill with endless power and doesn't require batteries or some sort of a
Yeah, that's
cable.
what the Craigslist ad was. Looking for a
Totally.
guy with drill with endless power supply.
Well, that's why they got rid of the personals on Craigslist.
Yeah.
They fixed that.
Yeah, 1982 Craigslist was weird, man.
It was really weird.
So that's when Trish brings up the whole thing of like, well, maybe Valerie's one of the bad guys. And like, do you really think that's a possibility? And then the Canadian tuxedo guy just sneaks through the window. He goes, "No." And then he just gets at him with the drill. They turn around, they're screaming, they attack him. And Trish hits him with a bat, and he's knocked out for a bit.
So at this point, though, Valerie is in the house and she's sneaking around looking for people. And I'm realizing, like, how much of this movie is being spent, like, wandering around looking for shit. We're an hour in, and an inordinate amount of it is just, like, sneaking around looking for shit. And finally, somebody picks up a bat and hits the guy in the fucking head. Like, we realize how stupid of a weapon this fucking drill is. It's terrible. Like, he has to get it up. He's got to get it going. And they can just pick up anything near them and throw it at him or hit him. Like, it's just pointless.
Well, I do love it, too. She hits him once with the bat, he falls to the ground, and they just don't finish the job.
They all just stand around and wait.
Yep. And no, Amy's never seen a horror movie before, but the killer just gets right up anyways,
Yeah.
like Jason.
Or Michael Myers, or literally anybody ever, yeah.
So he gets right up right away and then just stabs Kim right in the gut. And I do love this, is that Trish just kind of looks at her and she's like,
Again,
well, fuck
knife.
this.
Again, knife, because the fucking drill is worthless.
And Trish gets out of the room and she's like, well, bye, Kim. And Kim dies right there. And then the killer's, you're right, Eddie, we just watched like 10 minutes of him just searching around the
walking
house.
around, just looking for people. Is there somebody under here? Somebody in this closet? Is there somebody in the fridge?
Oh, no, it's just bras hung up in a shower curtain.
I was okay with that part.
That was just odd. And so then I like this though is that Valerie's looking around the backyard and she finds her little sister laying on the ground.
Yeah, she's just taking a nap, and then she pops up like the Undertaker.
Like in a flower bed.
Out of the flower bed and does like a horse whinny.
Yeah, she's like, "Arr!" And Valerie's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I was just trying to scare you."
I'm bored.
And then they're like, "Well, should we go home?" And they're like, "Yeah, but let's just go in the house."
Let's go take a look around the house. I'm bored with this movie.
And so, yeah, the killer looks around for a while. Trish hides in a garment bag, and he doesn't see her. Then we go into the kitchen. Maybe my second favorite scene.
I have a question.
This scene, so
How
good. Okay.
did she get in the garment bag and zip it up on the hanger?
You know, I'm flummoxed.
Right.
I think you've broken the code.
If only Eddie Deason was here. It feels like something he's done in a movie.
He probably could have figured that out, but he is not here.
Like, I want that scene of just figuring that out.
Yeah, just like it could be a 90-second scene of her just squeezing into the closet. What am I gonna do? I don't know where I'm going. Oh
and just
my!
One foot in the garment bag.
Yeah.
What's this?
By the way, she got the zipper all the way to the top.
Yeah,
like she fully
commitment.
closed herself.
She had to like wedge her fingernail under the inside of the zipper and push it up, like.
And she also presses her face against it, so we could see that she's in there.
That was stupid. That
you go
was
through
really
all
dumb.
that work and then you almost blow it.
Yeah. But no, this is my second favorite scene in the whole movie.
So good.
We're in the kitchen, and the little sister goes like, "I want a beer," and so she grabs like a Modelo bottle. And Valerie's like, "Come on, we gotta go." And she's like, "Well, we're in the house. We should at least raid the kitchen."
We should just steal from these people.
Yeah. So she opens the refrigerator, and you know how this killer likes to hide his bodies.
Yeah.
Bobby?
In the refrigerator.
Bobby, you want to explain this scene for us?
Somehow, much like the garment bag, somehow Russ has managed to empty out this fridge and just place Kim inside.
Yeah, he took the shelves out of the refrigerator.
They're somewhere.
They're shelves. He rearranged all of the groceries that were inside of the refrigerator because they're not just strewn about. Because this was quicker than just, I don't know, shoving her in a closet.
Well, he needed the dramatic effect. When
It's
somebody
funnier.
was going to go, it is very funny, though.
He's got a sense of humor, and they've got a sense of humor because they know the rule of three. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, they do.
Because she opens the door, you know, she's not looking, you just see Kim's body hanging out of it, then she closes the refrigerator door, opens it again, right? And then you get the same gag, close it again, and then finally she's like, "I'm getting that beer," opens it up, and Kim falls onto the ground dead.
Upside down.
True story, that actress was in that refrigerator the whole time, and she was just holding onto a spot behind the light so that she didn't fall out every time they opened up the refrigerator.
Oh, that's great.
Very well done.
And I feel like these bits, the garment bag and the fridge, were in the Rita Mae Brown version.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Because that is like, isn't it stupid the way these hiding places are and the way they hide these bodies?
It's literally comedy. It's the rule of three.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
So what happens next is that they all both scream. So Valerie and her little sister scream, and then Valerie goes to hide in a basement. And I go, "A basement in L.A.? What the fuck? What?"
Again, basement. That's where the fuse box was that they said was in the garage. But anyhow,
It was very weird. She goes into a basement.
She tells her sister, "Run," but her sister doesn't.
No, neither of them run.
No.
Valerie goes behind the first door she sees
And
in a
leans
confined
against it.
space. Yeah, the fucking room with one exit, the basement.
Yeah.
And her sister hides under a couch.
Which, have you ever tried to hide under a couch? Let me tell you, it's not easy. I've tried to do that. You can't wait for very long. The women, they typically wear heels, which is nice, but god damn it takes for fucking ever.
And so then when she's hiding in the basement, the killer opens the door, and Rush just sends that pizza guy right into the basement down the stairs.
She just chucks him down there.
And this is when Roger Corman's like, "Look, son, if you take this stair fall for me, I'll let you direct a movie called Cyborg."
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll all be worth it. Android, whatever you say, son.
You just take the fall, you'll get the part.
Yeah. And so then he throws him down the stairs. I feel like Corman did it himself. Chucks this kid down the stairs.
She's hiding under the stairs while it happens, too. Like,
And then upstairs, I do love this, is that the killer says, I'm going to use where they hid that pizza guy, because he goes under the blanket himself.
Yeah, just lays down like, I'm going to hide.
Yeah, and the
So
sister,
smart.
the sister sees this because she's hiding right under the couch where he is. But you know what? Coach is here.
Yeah.
And I love this. She walks into the house and she goes, he's singled in the 9th. So we finally know how the fucking game ended.
Hey, we got the final 6.
Thank God we got the
He's
sports
singled in
update.
the 9th.
And then she looks over and she goes, hey, why is there this like body figure under a blanket? And she goes and lifts it up and Russ just pops up at her, and then we
And
get
the face he makes when he pops up is like he's going, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just again, Undertaker's it.
And we get a very epic fight.
Yeah, she grabs a fireplace poker.
Really?
Yeah.
She grabs a fireplace poker and backs up.
Meanwhile, Valerie's downstairs.
Now, Valerie's never seen a horror movie, and neither is Amy.
She's looking through weapons. And what's the first weapon that she picks up? The first thing she picks up is a drill. A corded drill and a tiny little insignificant, like, microphallic drill bit.
No one's
She's
going to feel
like,
that.
That ain't gonna do shit. Throws it down. She picks up a hammer after that, and she's like, closer. Then she picks up pliers. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do with that? Then yes, the circular saw.
She picks up a giant circular saw.
Big hero moment. This is Ash with the...
Yep.
Yeah, and she spins it. She's like, and then she runs up the stairs, and you know what? That thing's not battery operated.
Oh, she runs out of cord.
Yeah, no, the cable's not long enough, because finally we've acknowledged in this movie that power tools require electricity.
Were you guys hoping though that when she ran with that circular saw and the cord and
just
ended
offs
that
her
she was?
ass.
Yeah, I thought she was going to chop her own
Oh
head
my
off.
god, yes. So I was so waiting for that moment.
Like Leatherface dropping the chainsaw on his own leg.
Yes. I was so hoping that would happen. I was like, that would be the freaking greatest part of this movie.
It would be
Honestly,
so good.
like 2 years later, that would have happened.
It kills her, and then it just becomes the younger sister story. Like, totally, that makes sense.
Yes,
Totally.
yes. But no, she just goes, damn. And so the killer and the coach
So
are
we're back
still in there.
upstairs, and the coach is still in the square off. Courtney, from under the couch, grabs his ankle and manages to trip him.
Well, no, she sticks her foot out and trips, and I made a note of that because you actually can't fit your foot out from underneath of a couch when you're trying to trip a woman. It's very difficult.
It's too
you have
hard.
to use something very narrow.
Gotta use the
a
hand.
ruler, a metal ruler, like a yardstick, works really well.
Oh.
So she trips him.
He gets tripped, and then Coach starts beating on him with this rubber fireplace poker.
Yeah, but it says like metal on metal. It's like ting, ting.
But the thing is wobbling right in the frame.
Yeah. It's,
Like it's bending.
It makes it worse because we, for some reason, slow the movie down to slow motion.
yeah.
So everything grinds to slow motion.
Yeah.
And Trish comes running in with a knife.
Yes, she does. Put her in, Coach.
That's right. And just jams it right into his back.
Yeah.
Center field, center mass.
Yeah. And he's like, ah! And then,
She got the
you know
final
what?
homer.
for no reason at all, Coach pulls her out of the game. She said, put me
Hey.
in, Coach, but
Like,
she's
what the
putting her
fuck?
on the fucking bench.
ready to
She just
play.
get the game-winning home run, and you're putting her back on the bench. Yeah, why does she pull her off? Like, what are you doing to this poor man?
She benches her.
You're going to be traumatized if you have to stab this man who's been killing all of your friends. I'm going to pull you away from it and protect you. And oh my God, that didn't work.
I think the coach was more like, I want to do the job.
No.
I think it was more like, no,
This
I
meets
got it
mine.
from here. Yeah, I got it from here. So, no, she pulls her away, and then, again, Amy's never seen a horror movie, but the slasher man gets up like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Not like Jason or anything like that.
No.
But you know what? Valerie finds a weapon. Bobby, and what weapon does she find? Again, Amy's never seen Friday the 13th, but what weapon does Valerie find?
I believe it's a machete.
Well, it's a rapier, right? It's like a foil or maybe a morning
It was right
star,
next to the
something-
hockey mask.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a machete.
Yeah. She finds
Danny
a giant
Trejo.
machete.
She finds Danny Trejo.
She finds Danny Trejo sleeping there behind the couch.
It's a big fucking machete.
Yeah, it's huge. And the killer has Trish on the ground, right? And he's got the drill.
And we finally get his.
Oh,
big
by the way, he
monologue.
did kill the coach with the drill.
He slashed her in the belly
Yeah,
after
yeah,
she
yeah.
pulled her
Again,
off.
didn't use the drill.
Slashed her. He slashed her with the drill, which doesn't make any sense.
How do you do that? How do you slash somebody with a drill?
It
I've
doesn't
been
make any
working on
sense.
this for years. It does not work.
No. But he slashes her in the stomach with the drill, and that's when he's got Trish on the ground. He's got the drill. He's ready for the kill, and that's
He's
when
got to explain it.
he says, "Bobby."
He goes, you're pretty. All of you are very pretty. And she goes, please. And he goes, I love you.
I love you too.
And she's like, it takes a lot of love for a person to do this.
Yeah, it's okay, Bobby.
And she goes, go away. And he goes, you want it.
No, Bobby, it's okay.
And again, Bronson stands up in the theater and goes, it's his penis.
I accept you.
I do like that part when she goes, "I don't even know you."
It's like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, here's a weird-ass rape conversation.
She's like,
about how she wants it.
I don't know who you are. And then
But then he doesn't attack her.
No, because Valerie runs upstairs as Jason with the giant machete, and she and the killer have a big fight in the pool, right?
Yeah.
And then
she backs him up to the pool.
For no reason at all, by the way. He has plenty of space to go anywhere else in the backyard, but he backs up to the pool.
Because now he's the gym teacher and she's him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she swings the machete at the drill bit, Bobby.
And
oh man, shortens it by a couple inches.
Castration.
I don't think it's symbolic at all, though.
No, of course not.
Absolutely
She
not.
never thought that this was any sort of...
Which is funny, because if you listen to interviews, Michael, who played Russ, talks about how he chose to play this as he was being castrated, which kind of fits in with the idea that the director has no fucking clue, and the actors themselves are kind of going, okay, so clearly this is about me losing my dick.
Yeah. So my dick is getting cut off.
And Amy's just like, Michael?
Like, why are you reacting like it's just your weapon? It
My
wasn't even
dick-
party.
My dick is getting cut off.
That's what she said when they called cut. She's like, Michael, you're overreacting. You're acting like your dick got cut off.
It's
All right,
no,
go back in
listen.
and do it again.
It's my dick getting cut off here in this scene. That's what's going on.
She
Okay,
goes, all right,
and
well, we'll have
go.
to cut something off. Can you cut off his hand or something? Because the guy's reacting too much.
I need a reason for him to be making those faces.
Yeah,
Okay,
so she
well,
cuts
I saw
off
Star
his hand.
Wars. It's dope.
Yeah. So she cuts off his hand, and then he flips out, and then Valerie just kicks him into the pool.
Well, she slashes his gut, which he then grabs at with his newly reattached hand.
Yes.
And he falls into the pool now holding his fixed drill.
Yeah.
So there may have been a couple reshoots.
And little sister comes out to hug Valerie, and she's like, it's okay, it's okay. And then the killer's not dead. He gets out of the pool and attacks them. And then Trish runs out to help. Yeah, he slaps her.
Yeah, he's just like backhanding people. And for a moment, he's holding his own against 3 armed people.
Yeah. But it doesn't last long because he goes to dive on Valerie.
So yeah, he goes for the Goldberg spear.
Yeah, she's lying down. She holds the machete up from her pelvic area, straight up.
It rises up.
Yeah, as the killer dives on top of her, and she penetrates through his body in not a symbolic way at all.
Nope, meant nothing.
Nope. But she comes out the other end, and he dead now. And we just get shots of their reactions, and we just cut to the credits. And
Everyone
apparently,
screams, everyone cries, everyone leaves the theater.
the whole ending was reshot. Yeah, apparently the whole thing. There wasn't a pool involved or anything like that, apparently.
So what was the final scene?
I don't know.
Is it just the coach hitting him with the fireplace poker?
You know what it might have been? It might have just been the coach got him, and that was it. Or when Trish ran into the room and stabbed him in the back.
Okay. Because he does kind of ignore that he got stabbed.
Yeah. So I know we don't need to do recommendations because all of us are around the table recommendations.
Hard recommend.
And we are running very late, but I'm sure you guys hear that sound.
Oh, yes.
And how do you think Bobby and DeVito would fit in the world of the Slumber Party Massacre?
So I think, after Phone Lady got dispatched, the school needed someone else to finish that job. So I think Straight Arrow Electrical rolled up, and my God, you thought people were getting yanked into vans already. I pretty much finished it. That was all I got. What about you, Mike?
I think, they've had a long school year, right, guys? And half the school was killed, so we got to accept some new students into this LA high school. And Bobby's grades came in, and you know what, guys? He got held back.
Oh, no.
But they don't want him to go to that other school because remember what he did to the principal? He tried to kill him. Yeah. So they make him go to a new school. And so the next day they show up, and we know varsity basketball's done, right? But volleyball season started.
Oh, God.
And guess who's sitting there in the bleachers waiting? Coach DeVito's down on the floor, and Bobby's in the bleachers with the clipboard taking notes. DeVito turns to him, he goes, "I think I'm going to like this gig, Bobby."
Yes, we got a real hungry team this season.
So thank you guys for joining us. You can find us on grindhillsfilm.com or Twitter at GrindPod, Grindbin Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. You can also join our Patreon for $2 a month and get bonus shows, our weekly mini bins. Patreon.com/Grindbin. Bobby, do you have anything else you want to add?
Bobby, put in another peephole.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
What is Massacre? I don't know. Spooky got no real rhythm.
Hello, Pizza Man.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
How the hell is women